Paris, la ville lumière, et surtout pour nous, l'endroit de la finale mondiale de cette année. Cependant, n'allons pas trop vite. Sur la route de la gloire, il est important d'avancer pas à pas. Un chef-d'œuvre n'est pas sculpté en une nuit ou peint en un jour. De la même façon, un champion n'est pas né en une seule partie.
Into Diana, here we go.
The robot right now, you have AoE strip, you have AoE stunts, you have AoE resets, you have AoE slows, there's so much going on.
Tous les joueurs espèrent atteindre la finale mondiale, mais que quelques-uns y parviendront. Leur parcours ne sera pas facile. Mais s'ils ont ce qu'il faut, ils finiront par l'emporter. Certains pourraient même entrer dans la légende, leurs histoires racontées pendant des années. Mais il est encore trop tôt pour y penser. Si nos joueurs veulent une chance d'aller aussi loin, ils vont devoir relever de nombreux défis avec des risques d'échec à chaque tournant.
That is so unlucky for Timber.
He could just and he'd stun her with the Bellio.
No resisted save.
Leur détermination devra être à toute épreuve lorsqu'ils se battront dans les préliminaires européens pour se rapprocher de leur but et d'affronter l'élite dans la Coupe d'Europe. Il est temps pour nos joueurs de poser les bases de leur rêve de devenir champion du monde.
We see a huge proc from Diana. My team is right, or was that a good snare, Oliver?
For that skill 3, you have to land a lot of deeper. He lands all of them. Bravo.
Very well placed by Big Boy.
The branding, the addition of turn is just doing so much damage.
Leur chemin vers la gloire commence maintenant.
Hello there, welcome to the Summoners War World Arena Championship Europe Preliminaries 2025. It's day 2 of the competition. It's great to have you with us again. It's myself, Adam Savage, here in the hot seat, joined by the dynamic duo that is Saishizzo and Sam as well. Fellas, we had a great day 1. Before we get into day 2, some surprises, some kind of confirmations as well of players we expected to get through to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Golem Picha, first of all, no one really expected that one. Everyone was having all eyes on Neff on that first side of the bracket. But on the second one, we have Obaba once again making it into the cup. And I definitely do think a lot of the people here watching are very happy with that one.
100% they're going to be happy, but in all honesty, I'm happy for everything because next weekend now is going to be so stacked. We had the likes of the Pinkroids, the Neffs, previous champions, like 4 out of the previous 7 times that there could have been a Europe Cup champion. They're going to be taking place next Saturday, but we'll get into today, right, Adam?
Yeah, absolutely right there. The debutants, I'm sure, having the opportunity to compete against the veterans too. They're relishing that. You can see here, folks, as well at home, $216,000 up for grabs here across SWC 2025 Europe. You can see that there's loads of opportunities to earn money. The prize pool there as well. But we're on day number 2, August 17th. Say Shizu, we're looking at best of 5s today as well here. How does that change things up? Best of 5s, are players always used to this? Is that kind of a format that they're going to be unfamiliar with, you think, as well?
Well, actually, back in the days, we had best of 3s for the qualification. So having a best of 5 definitely does eliminate a little bit of that factor where it's like, ooh, an unlucky match here, on an unlucky match there, over there. Getting unlucky 3 times in a row is definitely something that mostly doesn't happen as much. So in that case, best of 5s is always very preferable by all of these players to get their best chance to making it all the way to the European Cup.
Yeah, and to add in there, we spoke about it yesterday. We've already got 1 European, our French player Guts, who managed to go through the Open qualifier for the French region. And now it's for these guys to try and get their way into that Europe Cup, Adam.
Yeah, that's darn right. You can see here the Europe Cup is what it's all about here. And the prediction event as well is very much available for you guys at home as well. Here you can see you can predict the results of what happens across the prelims and earn awesome rewards. There's, SWC 2025 emblems. There's points that you can gather along the way towards World Finals as well for loads more rewards. It's all about you guys at home as well as us here enjoying this. Something for you to really kind of have for yours to take away. You can see the SWC emblem event as well is back with even bigger rewards. You can see live stream coupon codes. We saw a few of those yesterday, maybe more to come today, and exchange them for amazing rewards too. So lots of really fun stuff here too. You can also see here Tekken 8 is very much a part of the family here when it comes to Summoners War as well. The Ultimate Showdown is happening right now on the Sky Island, so log in and enjoy the collab exclusive Nat5 Heihachi giveaway event, collab scrolls, and plenty more as well. But we should say this as well, not available in prelims to use these particular characters, but later on down the line.
Yep, they can be used during the cup itself, so it's definitely interesting to pick up those units because I think with the cup they might be playing on a slight different balance patch than they are right now. I'm not 100% sure about that, but in that case, some of these units might be very good and definitely want to be up for grabs for the players, but also for you guys at home because in the end, you guys at home definitely do want to pick up those units too.
For sure. I mean, it's a once in a lifetime. Once they're gone, they're gone. Well, in a different form, they're gone at least.
Yeah, do you know what? We were talking yesterday about how Say has kind of giving us Paul vibes with that kind of hair. Do you know what I'd love to see from you, Sam? Is the Heihachi kind of like the gelled back wings. I would love to see that with the bull. I think that would. I mean, Say, do you think that would suit Sam?
For content, yes. For content, yes.
For content. Well, we were talking, I think it was last year, we were talking about how ISMOO said that he would go ahead and shave his head if he didn't make it to a certain round. And I think ISMOO's going to be one of our competitors we're watching today. In fact, first up, we'll get to that very shortly here. But I think, you know, if we look at day one in the grand scheme of things, it was great. It had all the drama we were expecting from what happened, you know, what we would want from veterans and debutants coming head to head. But today, who's playing in front of us? Who's competing? Let's find out. There you have in front of you the bracket from EU Prelims, day number 2 here on our incredible SWC Europe Cup train to get to that later on next month. Quarterfinals. Sam, kick us off here. Which one really sticks out for you? Which one are you looking forward to most?
I mean, the first one. You have to say it. Glorious and ISMOO. ISMOO, again, another person with so many accolades against his name in this competition. And Glorious as well, even managing to get to the Europe Cup for the first time last year. It's going to be interesting to see who can actually take the victory. Really, really stacked. And to be honest, if you're already in that day 3, you must be wondering, I don't really want to face either of these guys, so can they both win?
Well, an interesting thing I want to add to this is if we look at the countries that these guys are from, we have 6 people representing over here from Germany. We have 1 from Morocco and 1 from France. So their German players are definitely having the upper hand in this bracket, which has very good odds for them to qualify maybe 1 or 2.
Indeed, I think that's a great point, actually. It's great to have an international affair with different kind of countries being represented across Europe. You can see here the first competitor we're going to look at today is Glorious. We saw Glorious last year beamed in through a screen to us the Europe Cup here, Sam. But, you know, has the credentials, has gone the distance. We talked about yesterday, a very tall man as well. Yeah, I think what is he looking to bring to the competition today? What do you think we're going to see from Glorious?
I think, knowing that Glorious being the streamer that he is, he plays a lot of matches on stream as well. It's one of those things where, again, how much can you really hide for a competitor in terms of they've seen what you're going to be playing? Have you left something up in your kind of bag of tricks ready to be used whenever? Interestingly enough, between Glorious and ISMOO, over the past 2 seasons, they've played each other a total of 10 times, and Glorious just has the upper hand with 6-4.
Ooh, very interesting to see. But then again, ISMOO has so many of those good LDs. And actually also some of the LDs that they have, they share between one another. Whereas ISMOO has the upper hand in a few of those. But we actually also saw that yesterday. The LDs did not matter as much as we have seen in previous years. We have seen people go all the way to the distance with just the normal elemental units. And I think that we're going to see that between these 2 competitors here as well.
Looking at the kind of like the amount of games played as well, we kind of looked at this yesterday in different win percentages and things as well. We see here that ISMOO only played around 530 games or so here. Sam, does that kind of put him at an advantage because you know, he kind of has played like not quite, you know, maybe kind of his game is so kind of like locked in, or compared to others, should there been more practice before going into the EU prelims here?
I think if you have that many accolades, you already know your box pretty well. So I think ISMOO will always be prepared. That's the guy he is.
Yeah, preparation's key. So you know that better than anybody here. And as we look at the pick and bans, we're jumping into our very first best of 5 today. Remember, folks at home, you let us know who you think is going to win each of these quarterfinal matchups. As ISMOO and Glorious, we're looking forward to this one. It's over to Say and to Sam. Let's jump on in, fellas.
What a glorious day to have a full head of hair. I think both of them might look better without it, to be honest. Let's find out in our SWC 2025 quarterfinals, match 1, set 1. Pre-bans coming in, Yonhong and Ciara being taken out already, say.
We were talking about the Hachi like haircut. Do we see on the picture of Glorious himself with a Hachi haircut as a Photoshop version? I absolutely love it. Same as these picks that we have in the early game. All of her being locked in by ISMOO. On the other side, we have the Megami and we have the Shiho.
Yeah, we're going straight back into meta then right here for these two guys. Let's see how much preparation they've been going into this recently. We saw it yesterday with Golem. If you understand it and you've played it a lot, you can really use it to a great beneficial effect here. Josephine and Okeanos were sticking on that meta.
I absolutely love what ISMOO just did. Locking in the two units in a different order means that the Josephine is faster than the Okeanos. So he actually has both of them on the same speed tuning, and he can choose in which order he wants to pick them on who goes first. Definitely a nice way of like tuning like the fine edges of your draft right there. On the other side, we do have the Bruiser setup with a Misty and a Raccoon. Let's see, ISMOO goes to a Chow, also entering that Bruiser meta with a newly picked up Miying.
Yeah, Miying again, so pivoting both of the players right now. 3rd and 4th for Glorious, 4th and 5th for ISMOO. Let's kind of bruise this out. Miying providing a lot of damage, but changing it out for a different unit, Anavel.
Change it out for that Anavel, even more bruiser potential plus high resistance. All of the units on the side of Glorious will have issues landing the debuffs on that Anavel. However, let's see what Glorious can bring as a good 5th, and that is a very strong 5th, but it does also signal that you're probably banning out that Oliver.
Let's find out also if ISMOO's got some preparations for some Sonya traps as well. We saw it used greatly yesterday, say.
Yep, definitely some Sonya traps are possible in this draft, but I think that you probably have to respect it. And on the other side, we're actually respecting the Chow.
Speed lead's being taken by both Glorious and ISMOO here then in our match 1, set 1 of the Day 2 Europe Preliminaries, Glorious and ISMOO.
Let's see who we're going for. All of the damage going into the Anavel, not activating the stun a single time, so it was not about the resist, it was just simply not activated.
Yeah, you've got all skills available, only 2 off-wheel, but those defense breaks, 3 turn.
3-turn defense break, but Misty is sitting on the lowest HP between all of the units, so is most likely gonna get healed by this Raccoon. So let's see if this defense break will actually stick. Plus, where are you gonna land this stun? Are you gonna go for the Okeanos? But you will trigger the Josephine.
Yeah, either way, you're going to trigger it, opting for that Okeanos, and resisted against it as well.
Ooh, resisted, so the Okeanos will have the free reign of the Rain of Stones if he so pleases, but also we have the Josephine moving next. So, as mentioned in the draft, the Josephine and the Okeanos were switched in turn order. That means that the Josephine is faster in this case, and that helps out a lot.
Definitely does right now, because he can look to try and strip if he wants, maybe even just plowing a bit more damage onto a Misty, but like you said, Raccoon on the field, that low HP is going to get swept up nicely.
Yep, but you also have to start controlling on this Shiho. If you go for a skill 2 on the Shiho right now, it might be that the Okeanos can stun it for a later moment. So at that moment, you have like a better rotation for your Josephine as well. So let's see what he goes for. It seems like we're running out of time. He did actually go for it, but in the end, the provoke was resisted. Still has a chance for going for AoE stuns.
Yeah, Rain of Stones coming down. No stuns coming out there, apart from on that Raccoon. Again, the passive is still up.
Ooh, but once again, the Megami is not connecting. Did get the additional turn to get the skills back, but are we looking at a crit rate, Oliver? Because first of all, we do get the crit over there. That's 12k damage. That's so much damage. Armor break is shaken off, but also the Okeanos on that armor break with that skill 3 did an insane amount of damage. Ooh, Oliver taking the extra turns. Glorious is not liking his position where he's sitting in right now. Also hitting everything off element. ISMOO is definitely enjoying this much, whereas Glorious, I'm pretty sure, is not on the same page.
No, definitely not. Oliver just controlling everything right now. It's Oliver's world, and we're just living in it, sir.
Yeah, I think that this match is fair to say. I think it's very hard for Glorious to come back, and the biggest thing Glorious can do after a match like this, where I just say it's like, okay, this was unlucky, this was difficult to deal with. Next match, mental reset. That is the important thing. It's not fully over yet, but this is difficult to come back from, because everyone knows in this game, at some point you kind of get like the tilt mentality of like, man, everything that could go wrong simply went wrong for Glorious.
Exactly, and the moment he now takes out the Shihu with that additional turn, you can get some cool times reset. The damage has gone on Glorious's side.
Yeah, the damage is about the Shiho, but the Shiho is looking at long cooldowns. Raccoon has to start doing some miracle works. He's definitely doing an additional turn over there. Simply not getting any of those. So let's see if we can do anything with the Shiho. Also, not too much just yet. So yeah, we do get the extra turns on the Megami, however, but I think it is something that is not really utilized that much in the early turns by simply not landing those things. And we have Anavel with the Sleep Train into the 3rd skill. Oh, no, wait, we're going to the 2nd skill, full healing on that whole team. Okeanos is still very far from the skill 3. But yeah, there's just too much going on the side of ISMOO, and Glorious definitely has to be thinking about the next game. Do you run it back, seeing if the RNG is different in the next match? Or do you just feel like, okay, should I have done something different in this draft? We still have a few more turns to go. Everything is on the half HP on the side of Glorious, but can he actually make anything work with that?
Exactly. It's all the time now for ISMOO to really use it. Just control through. Oliver still doing these Oliver things against Glorious right now. I think for Glorious, seeing how he's going to be able to come back from that, like you said, you've got to prepare now. How are you going to face off against ISMOO? He saw the high resistance on a lot of the units from the side of ISMOO there.
Yep, the high resistance, but then again, Megumi in most cases is a 85 accuracy, so he should be landing, or at least you're expecting to land those things. So best thing that Glorious can do right now is like, okay, that was match 1, is what it is, happened. I'm definitely telling you, it's very difficult, but then also just seeing like, okay, what can be changed in the next match to have like a more comfortable setup, or just see how the match revolves around it that time.
Exactly. Remember, it is a best of 5 the whole way through our Europe preliminaries as well, so one set still means something, but it's not the end of the world. If you go 1-0 down, you can always come back right there. Pre-bans are coming out for these guys. Gianna being taken out, and ISMOO does not want to face a first pick Oliver.
Ooh, not placing against the Oliver does probably mean that Glorious will be able to pick up either a Geo or a Sierra, because those are still the good units that are good for early picks. Goes for that Sierra. Does he lock it in? No, actually, was thinking of both of them. Glorious, don't listen to the stream while you're playing. Thank you.
Exactly. Picking up that Shiho. Straight response from ISMOO as well. He's going into that Sierra with the Okeanos. Glorious stealing away that Jogun as a potential opportunity for an ISMOO in a third pick.
Yeah, Jogun is definitely more in this position of a steal, because you don't want to be facing up against the Sierra plus the Jogun in combination. Megumi is also already an answer against that. But is that the right way that you want to play? Ooh, going for fast speed contesting. Also picking the best counter into the Athena paired with the Athena, because the Megumi is super hard countering that Athena. I'm liking the picks over here.
Yeah, he's going in for that speed contest. Is ISMOO pivoting right now, or is he going to continue with it? We see a Hagan coming out on the field. Maybe a sign of a little bit more of a slower tempo coming out, but a Yeonhong is not a slow tempo, okay.
Yeonhong is definitely not a slow tempo, but it's also the big question. Is that Yeonhong going to be on Will Runes, or is it not going to be on Will Runes? If it's not on Will Runes, the Hagan will not provide her that much against the Shio, against Etna. And Glorious is actually locking in full speed contest. 3 units on base awakening in speed, 2 units on speed leads.
Yeah, he's going for some snipes and fast control from the beginning of that game. How does ISMOO look to respond here? Only with 1 speed lead himself right now.
Yeah, 1 speed lead himself, so definitely going for the speed contest is not the right way. Maybe you want to add in a bruiser unit that can give you the potential, together with an Okeanos, to maybe lose 1 unit, but then still fight like a 3 against 4. Miying is his answer.
Miying on the field. Maybe it signals a Sonya ban.
Sonya ban is definitely a good option, but on the side of Glorious, there's so many things that you have to ban. The big question for me is that Yeonhong on Will Runes or not? Well, actually, the Will Runes aren't going to matter as much in this case. I do expect 2 units on the side of Glorious to outspeed that Yeonhong.
Let's see, 33 versus a 24. Who is going to take that first turn between Glorious and ISMOO right here? That is a fast Shiho and Etna.
That's definitely a fast one, and the Yeonhong was on Will, so that ban on the Haegang was very smart right there. Can we connect it? We do actually connect it. We can go for a cycling on the skill 2 into the skill 3 right now, because the attack bars are not as high. However, Okeanos will take its next turn. We're going to go for the Sierra. We do go for the Sierra under the 50% HP, guaranteed on this stun.
Yeah, all skills available right now. Are you going to look to insert that cool time onto the Megumi, prevent any sort of stuns further? Going in the Etna to stop the cycling.
Stopping the cycling, but also in this case, we do have other units moving first. Going for the stun on the Okeanos, do connecting it. We have to keep in mind that Yeonhong still has all skills available. So in that case, if the Yeonhong does get a skill off right now, it is very dangerous. So either skill 1 increase cooltime, or you have to stun it with a monkey later.
Yeah, we're going in for some defense. That's getting some damage down. And you've got the cool time anyway. Monkey can clean things up here, sir.
Can definitely clean things up, but the big question is right now, just the skill 1 would take it out. Normally you would say like, oh, I have to go skill 2 because I have to stun it, but in that case you don't have to trigger the Miying just yet, so that was the right play over there. Only slight issue right now is Sierra will get a turn off, and Okeanos also still has the skills, because we're not looking at any cooldown resetters except for Vanessa skill 1.
Yeah, Vanessa skill 1, if it would have landed, he went instead for that defense break. You've got bombs you can look to plant on Etna, onto the Megumi, even onto the Vanessa. We want to see how tanky that is. Going in for the Megumi, though.
Going in for the Megumi, that does mean that Athena will get her turns off later, but it doesn't get the attack buff. So in this case, we can go for a stun. You could go for the risky play of adding this in the Miying. Miying will go for a cleanse, and then you also hit it with this S2, and you would have had it stunned. But it's definitely a risky play, so I'm liking this chance.
Yeah, he's got the second skill again. Doesn't want to use it, doesn't want to proc into that passive of the Miying. Will self-cleanse and get some... Oh, the damage still slowly coming, but there's a defense break landed on it.
He actually did manage to get multiple crits on that Okeanos. Otherwise, ooh, that additional turn with the 1 HP is gonna take out so much HP, stunning both units. First, he had like a good session with that Shatter on that Okeanos, getting the double crits in, but just by the sliver of health, not enough damage. And now he's taking the bad hand on that. In the end, he's not going to be able to kill the Okeanos with this right now. Ooh, he's gonna be able to kill with that on the Shiho. Yes, he does take out the Shiho, and that's actually really unfortunate for Glorious on these additional turns from the Okeanos.
Yeah, he's got skills. He can just go for the kill. Vanessa versus a Miying. I've seen crazier things, but I don't think we're going to see anything crazy here.
It is a possibility, maybe, if you get a good rotation in where you can get a revive. With your revive, you're reviving the Shiho, and with that revive on the Shiho, Shiho can actually do the right skill at the right timing. But is it going to be there? No, we have the counter, and the counter is just simply doing so much damage.
ISMOO taking it 2-0 against Glorious right there. I mean, in all honesty, it looked like Glorious kind of had it in his locker, and then all of a sudden, that ISMOO, the additional turn coming out, definitely helped his way through there. But even just a Miying being on the field is super annoying to have to deal with, right, with those stuns.
Yeah, he definitely could have played it in hindsight, maybe a little bit different to get the stun in on the Miying earlier and then try to double stun it at a later moment, so he could go for more cycling on his skill 2s with the Shiho. But the play he made was definitely not a bad play. It was just quite unfortunate that the Okeanos at 1 HP went for that Rain of Stones.
Yeah, we've seen the pre-bans Yonhong and that Ciara allowing ISMOO with that 33 lead with the Oliver. Glorious looking to get across that Shiho. He's used it in every match so far, but not won with it or that Megumi.
Yeah, let's see if he can make it work this time around. The Yonhong is not available for ISMOO. That Okeanos has been showing so much strength in the last 2 matches, so let's see if it can do it in this one. Once again, what would you like to pair that up with?
Exactly. Previous position in that first set, we did see a Josephine in the Okeanos, and again, making that same mistake, picking it before for the speed tick.
Yeah, definitely it's one of those things that taking your time for that is always very crucial. And having the Josephine move in front of the Okeanos gives you more chance to actually go for a strip before landing an AoE stun. So it gives you a lot of opportunities, but there's also an opportunity you can choose to take or not take. So that's very nice played over there. This time around, we have a Jogun on the side of Glorious, which was different than the match 1.
Yeah, it's the only difference so far in this last spot in that first set. We saw a Nanavel, we saw a Chow. Again, ISMOO opting for pretty much the exact same draft right there. Glorious, again, with a Sonya as well. Must ban?
Yep, so in this case, the only difference between match 1 and match 3 is the Jogun is traded, or like the old Raccoon is traded in for now a Jogun. Bans last time around were on the Chow and on the Sonya. In this case, we're actually respecting the Annabelle, and we're going to be bruisering against that Chow.
Let's find out. Speed leads for both Glorious and ISMOO. It's a quarterfinals, set number 3. If ISMOO wins, he's already through to those semi-finals right here. Let's see if he can resist against Glorious.
Yeah, the big question is, Shiho, do you gonna go for the third skill? Does go for the third skill, not one activation all the way at the end, but did not manage to land it. Might not be the worst of timing, because that does make it where your Jogun still has all skills available, whereas your Shiho did all of the damage that the Shiho was supposed to do. And now he can freely still go for a stun. Do you connect it? Ooh, doesn't go for the stun. He's gonna go for the attack buff. Kill it. Lots of damage over there. Nice play. Love to see it.
Yeah, very smart play right there. Knew that if he'd have stunned anyone, he would have procced the passive of Josephine right now. But Oliver, is he going to be the same as he was in the first set here, say?
That is definitely an option, but in this case, at least you have a Misty that's not looking at very low HP. Still taking the additional turns, so there's 2 additional turns on the side of ISMOO with the Josephine and that Oliver thus far. So let's see if the Megumi can also pick up some of those later on.
Yep, resisted against that Misty right now. Again, just trying to set up some defense breaks, I think, onto that Oliver.
Yep, trying to get the defense breaks in. Is he gonna try to do it again? Because if he gets a defense break in here right now, that's a lot of HP on that Oliver. He tries to get it again, but no activation on it just yet, neither on the slow.
Yeah, still getting that resistance. Having to now hit that Fire Megumi to prevent it from taking some turns. Maybe Chow can clean something up in this next hit.
Oh, I'm fearing for the life of the Shio. Most of the time, Shios are pretty decent on HP, but how much is this one? 16k by the sliver of health. It is actually nice to have it by the sliver of health because one of the units has to waste another turn to actually take out the Shio.
Exactly. Are you going to waste it now? Do you want to just try and confirm a kill, or do you need to prevent that Jogun from getting a turn in?
Ooh, preventing the other unit. So therefore, we have another scroll trap going in and also another blossom. Does that also mean that Shio outspeeds? That's the big question. Shio is going to outspeed and Shio can get another skill off.
Oh, he's got that skill 1 available. Can you even clean up that Oliver? Yes, you do. And it's Misty's Rain to come in. Oh, big resistances.
Really big resistance. Is that a Josephine on 100 resist? That could definitely be a thing, but it's going to be Chao against the world very soon. And Chao against the Misty is a difficult matchup, especially if there's still 2 other units that you have to go through first. In this case, you can start hitting the Chao. You will get the Nemesis being procced in, but the Jogun can take care of this unit right now, or pretty much anyone can take care of a Josephine right now because it's on very low HP.
It definitely is right now. Just getting rid of this Josephine. Maybe he gets a good cycle with that Megumi on a defense break into a Misty hit. That's what he's hoping for.
Yeah, let's see. Chao, do you go right away for the Misty? No, it's gonna take out the other units first because the other units do not provide any healing on themselves. But then again, there's so much damage coming in. Scroll Trap just for the cycling only. Blossom Feigning to get that attack buff once again. Chao has got to do some miracle work right here to take out this Misty. Is not doing the miracle work right now, but the Misty is doing exactly that.
Misty bringing it back 2-1 in the favor of ISMOO, but Glorious getting that set in through there. You could see, again, just how strong Misty can be against a one-on-one unit that can maybe come back against the rest of them. Chao, to your favoritism, say, did not do it.
No, Chao was one of those that he tried pretty hard, but he was sitting too long in the scroll trap, and that shows that the Jogun was definitely a better unit than the Raccoon in that first round.
Definitely was. Changing things up, that's what you need to do as a player within our SWC kind of format. If something doesn't work, like we said, best of 5. 2 sets down is the reverse sweep on right now for Glorious to respond. A Gianna and an Oliver, same pre-bans as that second set.
Yeah, last time around, Glorious did pick up the Sierra in the first pick right here. Or no, actually, he went from the Sierra to the Shiho, locked in the Shiho. But in this case, we are going to lock in that Sierra.
Yeah, taking away speed lead already. Instant response from ISMOO. The same 3 units, just in a different order.
Yep, that also does mean that Josephine is a very good pick for Glorious. Does he still go back to the Megami because it doesn't feel as strong? Jogun definitely does feel very strong. Let's see what kind of speed leads ISMOO wants to go for against this, because the Shiho probably still needs a speed lead against the very fast runes from Glorious that are probably on this Jogun.
Exactly who you're partnering. We've seen in previous days, it was that Vanessa also came in with a 33, but maybe it doesn't bring so much utility in terms of the other skills that ISMOO's requiring right now. You know he's got a Yon Hong as well, but he does need to partner up with a speed lead.
Yep, and the Megami is a great speed lead. We're gonna see a Chao on the other side with the NFL, so the 4 and 5 pick of ISMOO in the previous rounds that he was doing. Are those going to be locked in by Glorious right now? Because in the end, these are the units that made it not work for ISMOO in the previous round. So he's going to try it on himself.
Yeah, we're going in then for an Etna, so another steal right there. We've completely changed things up. Is it going to be mixed reverse kind of everything there, say?
Yeah, the ban on this one is going to be very interesting because the ban from ISMOO towards Glorious is going to be either on the Sierra or the Jogun to make sure that his units outspeed, whether if the Megami is banned or not. But big question is Glorious actually going to go for that Megami ban for that reason? Because the Megami ban only has, or he has that many waters in there. Actually, the bans are going to be completely different, reading each other like a book right there. Let's see what they can do with this.
Yeah, different speed leads coming in, a 28 versus a 24. ISMOO and Glorious. Yon Hong is going to get that first turn in.
Yeah, Yon Hong followed by the Shiho. Do we go for Yon Hong's skill too? It is not a full activation rate skill, so it can be a little bit tricky. Does actually connect it to one of the later hits.
Yeah, he's managed that. He's got an opportunity, but do you want to proc the passive of Josephine right now, or allow Okeanos to at least take a move beforehand?
Well, there's definitely a few options you could have done over here, because you could have also just simply done all of the damage possible into that Sierra. Maybe taking out Josephine once again, not shining here for the European players. We do have a stun potential from this Megami. We do have a Okeanos reset potential. So there's a lot of works that you could go for. You could go for Rain of Stones, also absorbing a little bit of attack bar, and will make it move. Ooh, does not move in front of the Sierra just yet, and Sierra has skills available if she takes that additional turn.
Yeah, he's he's hoping, he's banking on it that Ciara does get that extra turn right now. Doesn't there, so she's going to be set up maybe with a defense break or at least Okeanos to try and clean her up.
Yeah, in this case, Chao took that additional turn, which we so much wanted to see on the Ciara. So in this case, we do still have the charge fatality, but all of your units are looking pretty lively. Attack bar gain is still nice for that. So just a bit more cycling. Can you take out the Ciara with those 2 hits? Yes, we are critting those units. There is still Shiho skill 2, which you could have used to finish that off, but you can also decide to just simply take it. And Shiho goes for the all or nothing and takes them all.
Wow, again, ISMOO's resistance play is coming in clutch against Glorious right now. Can Josephine and Chao get online and get through that Shiho?
Yeah, it's all about the Josephine and the Chao right now, because the Jogan is not really going to be adding too much to this whole vibe. There is a skill 2 available. How much damage can you do? Can you take it out? 14k damage. That's a very tanky Shiho right there.
Definitely is tanky enough right now, and Shiho is going to be coming through with that skill 3. Can just look to get some damage.
Yeah, he's gonna go for the damage, but he will proc the passive of the Josephine at the meantime. So he's gonna go for the Chao. Chao will have a little bit of self-healing coming in later. Will also probably just simply take that off at a later moment. Big issue is you have to start landing those on the Yanhong, because if you don't land those on the Yanhong, it's going to be very difficult. Also, 1 turn away from the Justice, and Justice actually does go through that invisibility.
It does. He wanted to try and set up another defense break there, ISMOO, onto the Chao right there. Do you just want to put a cool time in, or he's going for some damage?
Ooh, he's going for damage, but actually not even breaking the shields or not stunning anything that he would have liked to see. In this case, Yanhong, 2-turn provoke right there. I can see a potential where Josephine and Chao do still take this victory over here.
Exactly. Is he hoping for another defense break? Doesn't land it this time. Again, needs it to set up maybe for that monkey to come through and clean up that Chao. Otherwise, Josephine's going to be helping out.
Well, the thing is, he can go for a pushback right now. There's already a debuff, but does he want to go for the pushback? Does not want to go for the pushback. Is removing the counter, so Josephine is not dealing more damage to that Yanhong in this case. But first, we're going to have that turn on that Chao coming right after this.
Oh, and he's part of the passive there as well. Right now, she can look to get another stun, maybe onto that monkey.
I would just simply actually do more damage into the Yanhong, because the moment you take out the Yanhong, if Yanhong gets any proper skill in right now, she will have the charge fatality again. And with the glancing right now, you can't really go for the skill 2. Does still go for the skill 2, does not activate.
Doesn't get it right there. Fine Megumi does cut in right now. Again, are you looking to try and get through that shield and set something up? But Okeanos can maybe get a cool time, but I don't think Justice is there quite yet.
No, Justice was just used, but the skill 2 does have more damage. Actually did trigger the Nemesis. Ooh, and we have all skills available right now on that Yanhong, and that's the main thing that you want to front, because that's a 16k heal. Also, the Blade Fang is gonna do a lot of damage coming in very soon.
He's going to have to send it, and he's gone for it, and he's got rid of that Chao right there. Josephine versus 3, though.
Josephine versus 3, yeah, that's definitely an uphill battle right there, because the Chao has self-healing. With the self-healing, you can get pretty far. I do think that this Josephine is on an HP slot 4, so therefore is having a lot more HP and a lot more shields. But it's therefore also not doing this insane amount of damage that you would like to look for. Plus, this Okeanos is taking the extra turns with the chip damage.
Yeah, it is, and he's got that cool time. The passive is now 2 away as well. So you can just, again, you could even go for a stun if you wanted.
Yep, well, simply all of the add damage is just dealing enough damage to take out this Josephine. There was some chance for Glorious to take that victory, but in this case, it does go once again to ISMOO.
It certainly does, lads. ISMOO progresses through to the semi-finals on day 2 here of the EU prelims, and it was a great competition. You saw there 3-1, Glorious fighting back, trying to be as resilient as possible. But speaking of resilience there as well, we've got to say, ISMOO, big shout out, just managing to kind of to always ensure remaining in the game, tanky monsters, and just I think Sam, it's just testament to ISMOO and the experience there as well, making sure that whatever happens, that he's never on the back foot. He could always, whatever Glorious was willing to chuck at him, he had an answer.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, especially some of the builds that ISMOO must have been running during that match. So many resistances. Like, all of those units must have been super high on the resistance, because like Say was mentioning before, Glorious for sure is using 85% accuracy on some of those. You're in SWC, you're ready for it. But to then have those resistances, wow. ISMOO, again, just showing why he's got so many accolades against his name, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely very well played over there. But also, once again, even with not playing that many matches, very good understanding of the meta, knowing which units are strong, knowing which units counter which unit, studying a lot, probably looking at the other regions. And that way you don't have to play your own matches, but you can still learn from watching others.
Yeah, I totally get that. I mean, do you think it's more a case of you kind of doing the research about the person you're playing against here, Sam? Or is it more a case of like knowing your game so inside and out that, you know, whatever comes your way, you'll find a way to battle through?
I think it's actually a mix of both, just within this specific one of Glorious and ISMOO, since both of them do stream. Periodically, a little bit less maybe for ISMOO. ISMOO can check in on what Glorious is currently kind of running or using a lot of. Yes, he might change things up when it gets to a tournament setting, but again, usually if you're 2 sets down, you probably pivot back to what you know rather than what you might have prepared already. And so because of that, I think ISMOO, again, in the driving seat, maybe you don't need so many matches. You've just got that experience that you can lean back into.
Yeah. I can totally see. I think you're right. Yeah, you can see. We met ISMOO. We watched him play countless times. He's definitely got a lot of answers to any questions put his way. You can see here, semi-finals wise, ISMOO is through, and later on we'll see him competing up against one of our next competitors. We'll go through though in just a second here. Glorious will definitely remain in the competition, but go through to the lower bracket next weekend. Next Saturday, Glorious will be fighting for his life to remain in the competition to qualify for the Europe Cup this year. Let's turn the attentions then, fellas, to the next matchup straight away. For you guys at home, it doesn't stop. The fun never stops here at SWC. TAYFUN versus Pafix coming up next. Tell us about TAYFUN. What can we expect?
I think that this is the matchup where we might expect the most amount of LDs. We see the Zinasek, super hard counter against all of the stuns. We see the TLX, but we also see Ella, which is still somewhat of a little bit of an underrated unit, but it's actually a unit that pairs very well with everything that's in the meta. You have a little bit of healing, you have cooldown resets, you have attack bar gain, and you have immunity. It just works so well with everything in the meta. But on the other side, we have Pafix. And Pafix actually did say on one of the streams that he pulled 3 more LDs just before SWC. One of them is hidden, one of them we don't know as of yet. The other 2 were a Seraph, and I think it was a Hertite. He already says, like, those are probably not going to get used. But also on this box, you see the Julian, you see the Kovaci, you see the Tianlang. If I'm not mistaken, he also picked up a Zeratul, so definitely very strong on those units, which actually doesn't have to focus that much on the meta.
Yeah, for sure. And these guys actually faced each other a total of 5 times during the past 2 seasons. Pafix currently 3-2 up against TAYFUN as well. So let's see if he can bring that forward or if TAYFUN's due the win. We had it before yesterday with Ababo and Pinkroyd, who managed to do it. And anyway, for Pafix, he's been around. We've seen him at the European leagues as well, bringing a lot of different strength, especially just in his stature there, Adam.
Yeah, look, I mean, like we said yesterday, like the broad shoulders, leaning back into it, just feeling alpha, feeling good. Who will be the victor of this one, though? I mean, TAYFUN, who I comically called TAYFUN, TAYFUN versus Pafix here. It's going to be interesting to see how this one goes, but there, you can see there Pafix as well. Twice on the bounce there, a contender in prelims, desperate to get into the main crux of the competition in the Europe Cup. We'll see what happens here. Who will go through to the semis? We'll find out now. Pafix versus TAYFUN. Over to you, boys. Let's go.
What's the Summoners War RTA TAYFUN of fun? Fixing your own procs. Let's find out if they fix them for this matchup. TAYFUN versus Pafix right here. Previously, before I remember, said TAYFUN was always the best ever G2 player, but now managing to get 34 rank as well from that previous season for a qualification. So let's see these pre-bans. Knows about that Zeratul and the Yonhong.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot more LDs on this one. Or are they going to surprise us to still go for all of the meta units? We have an Oliver being locked in. We do see actually more of units on the meta right there as well. Because normally, Pafix does like to go for a Kovaci, but actually, no, we're even the people that are throwing most LDs at matches in most cases are still locking in all of the elemental units. This just shows that they're so much stronger than LDs at the moment.
Definitely are. I mean, we said it before yesterday, Golem Petraga brought all of that kind of meta using the water, wind and fire, and again we're seeing it come into today's action as well. Josephine getting picked up with a Misty as well. This is a real meta slave of Europe.
Yeah, absolutely. And the moment we see that one LD, the one LD is an LD 4-star. The LD 4-star is better than all of the LD 5-stars that they have. It just simply fits so well in the meta. On the other side, we do have Anvel, and we go back to a Layla. We see full normal elemental draft. I can include Misty as a normal elemental unit as well, because it's easier to obtain.
There you go, look at that. We've changed things up. We've seen the Layla. Yesterday, Pinkroyd used it to great effect as well in his first few matches as well. How does Pafix look to want to answer that? I mean, maybe a Juno, but it seems odd with a Shiho and an Annabelle on the field.
Ooh, going for the Sonya, going for that snipe. That also does signal a most likely ban towards that Oliver. So making sure that the enemy doesn't have a speed lead that's faster than yours. Or if your Chiara is banned, that you actually end up without any speed lead.
Yeah, let's find out. It's all the mind games again here. Pafix been here before. TAYFUN, it's his first time in this competitive part of SWC. How are you going to react to this moment? Your Oliver is now banned out. You've banned out that Sonya snipe as well, so we will have a speed lead on the side of Pafix. On the side of TAYFUN, we're going to go for an attack lead, potentially. We're going in for the defense lead, 44% there. It is here. Our match 2, set 1 of SWC 2025. TAYFUN versus Pafix right here.
Shio or Jogan. Jogan is faster on that 24 leads. Takes the scroll trap because the Shio is not on Wilburns, but actually did not manage to take out the immunity on the side of Okeanos. Also decides not to go for the Okeanos just yet. Is bombing that Layla. Mostly is a target with higher resistance. 29k damage. That is a lot and a lot of damage coming in. Yesterday, Pinkroyd was doing the 28k. This is the highest Ciara we have seen thus far.
Wow, 29. And there we go. Okeanos does take his turn, but procs that passive of the Josephine right there. And he is going to be able to at least cycle through right now. But 1 unit down, not looking good.
Definitely not looking good. 1 unit is still looking in the trap, however, and comes out of the trap with full ATB available, all skills available. So it might do a little bit of things over there. Oh. Ooh, especially if you have an armor break set up right here, because if you go for the armor break right now, Shio will take a turn. Shio skill 3 can take out a Misty.
Are you going to just go in for the Misty straight away, or do you even consider a Josephine?
Nope, we're going straight away into Misty. Does actually not take out a Misty. Was missing a few crits. I saw 5Ks, I saw 3.2Ks, and the 3.2Ks were the missed crits. If he had 1 extra crit, he could have taken it out.
Wow, look at that. Just all the little fine details that are happening here right now at our SWC Europe Preliminaries. Okeanos comes through, can clean up that Misty.
Can clean up the Misty, definitely will clean up the Misty, but then we have something on the side of Josephine to talk about that. We're going to go for skill 2 once again, going back on denying the turns of that Annabelle rather than taking a strip on anything else.
I love it. That Annabelle, though, providing so much on the side of TAYFUN still. Look at those 2-turn defense breaks still available.
Yeah, 2-turn defense break, still a slow of 1 turn available. Ciara just shook everything off, but also landing the bomb. So denying the turns on the Annabelle makes it where she cannot proc into the girl spray, into all of those cleanses. But there's an additional turn on this Okeanos, not taken out just yet. Actually not going for Rain of Stones, which is an interesting choice right there. But therefore, we have the all or nothing going in cleanly, but not taking any skills with it.
Was that maybe a little misplay right now? You've got that opportunity from Josephine. Can you even stun as well or kill that Okeanos?
Ooh, Okeanos not dead just yet, but an additional turn on this Annabelle, I think might take out the Annabelle. 21k bomb damage without an attack buff. That is an insane amount of damage. Yeah, I think definitely if we look at the hindsight, Rain of Stones would have seemed stronger because then you had more chance for stuns going in. But the big issue is you would have triggered the Josephine passive, so he was in a bad spot regardless, and that gave Pafix the victory.
Pafix leading 1-0 against TAYFUN right here in our match number 2 of SWC Europe Preliminaries. Wow. Okay, so we saw it then, just how strong Pafix's Ciara can be. Is that even going to lead to some sort of pre-ban, get rid of that speed lead, take out that unit?
Well, funny enough, we saw both of the LDs of the other side being pre-banned, but after that, none of the other LDs being picked up, which... Let's see if we're actually going to go towards the pre-bans of the normal units now as well. Because in the end, LD pre-banning is always easier. Because you know the enemy has this, and I definitely do not have that. Whereas with all of the elemental units on this point in the stage of the game, most of these players have about everything that is meta. So let's see if they're still going to go for LD pre-banning, or are they going to go for something else? Because if they LD pre-ban right now, they're pre-banning something that hasn't been shown on the field just yet. No, we're actually going to go into normal elemental pre-banning as well. Even giving the credits over there saying like, wow, that's Ciara, too much damage. On the other side, I want to play something that I don't want to go into an A gang.
Exactly. It's going to allow the Pafix to have that first pick Oliver, locking that 33 lead. TAYFUN responding then with his own speed lead. That Megumi already coming out. Maybe a Shiho.
Megumi Chio, always a good combination, but you do know if you locked it in, there is going to be a Josephine on the other side. In this case, with a Yeonhong, the Josephine on the other side can be good, but it's maybe not as good. It is still going to be there. Also, one of the hardest counters into the Megumi, getting a lot of attack bar gain. TLang says, that is my attack bar gain.
Exactly, that's why he's on the field. A horrible pocket pick for if you're a player playing against somebody with that right there. TAYFUN looking to get in that Anavel then. Again, brought a lot of utility in that first set.
Yeah, brought a lot of utility, but did not get that many resistance in, even from units that are most likely not full on the accuracy. So I'm not sure if this NFL is rocking that 100% resistance, but we're also adding in a super strong Buser unit with that Assure. But on the other side, we're going back to the Chows.
Chow being popped out there, looking to potentially even still be a solo unit when it can work, even though Say prays every day that it won't.
Well, it's not necessarily that I pray that it doesn't. It's just one of those things you feel like it should do something, and you often get disappointed in the Chow. So let's see if this Chow is a disappointment or this Chow is actually going to do very well. We're going to see a Juno being picked up. So with the Juno over there, I can guarantee you Chow is not going to make it into this field. But then again, the Shizuka could be a little bit annoying. But however, Shizuka is mainly strong into a Shiho because of stealing that invisibility. In this case, it's not really there yet.
Yeah, he's also brought in there some attack bar booster again. Tian Lang's going to be loving that, say.
Yep, that is definitely a lot for Tian Lang. But then again, on the side of TAYFUN, I count 4 healers. On the side of Pavix, I count 1 healer. And he's selfish. It's just for himself. It's that Chow.
Yeah, exactly. So is he going to be even able to sustain through? Chow has been banned out as well as the Juno. So we will get speed leads going into our set number 2 right here between TAYFUN and Pavix. Can TAYFUN get a point back on the board against him right here, or is Pavix looking to extend his lead?
Yeah, let's see what happens. Pavix is not showing any healer, but he still has semi-sustained, because in the end, a shield is a form of sustaining. But any HP that you lost will be permanently lost, whereas TAYFUN has so many healers. Tian Lang not doing enough, does get the additional turn for a potential armor break.
Yeah, you can look to get that armor break out on the field. It then means it's in Shizuka's back pocket in her 3rd skill. She can put it up at a later effect as well.
Ooh, deciding not to go for the stuns just yet. Does not want to trigger the Josephine. We can go for some healing right here. Is he actually... Ooh, the speed tuning is good. We actually do have a skill 3 coming in. There's already an armor break. If this is some crit damage, we're looking at a lot of damage, instantly taking out that Oliver.
Managing to get that 1 unit out then on the side of Pavix right here. You can look to pop in a silence as well. Missed it on the Josephine.
Josephine, no silence. Also, the turn order is good. No provoke, however. So there has been no provoke, no stun. If you send these skill 3 right now, which you probably should do, you're not going to get anything. Actually, for that reason, is going to go for resets.
Yeah, can look to reset. Maybe it's already you need to go into that Yeonhong to stop the attack bar boost coming through.
Yep. Ooh, we're actually going to go for that NFL. We don't want to see any of those 3-turn armor breaks, 2-turn slows on that multi-hit.
There we go. We've got into the skill 2 right now. Can you get some big stuns?
We do get our first stun. We still have the chance for some more cycling back and forth. With this charge fatality on a 3rd skill right now, do you want to top off the healing or do you want to save it for a later moment? Nope, it's going to top off the healing, give the attack bar. Ooh, take the additional turn to get rid of that armor break.
The armor breaker's gone right now for the moment, but he's waiting for the moment Pavix to have that Shizuka again to get those skills, that skill 3 over on the side of TAYFUN.
Yeah, in this case, is he going to go all damage on this NFL? Is he going to take out the NFL? NFL is actually moving next. And with NFL moving the skill 1, it always, even if you're reset, skill 1 on the NFL can always be dangerous, but it's 2 turns away. So it's going to be some miracle work to actually get this in first hit. Doesn't actually get it. And we have the 3rd skill coming in from this Shizuka. All things in nature, and that's landing a lot of debuffs, but not landing the armor break that he wanted to have on that NFL.
Yeah, didn't get that one on the Annabelle, so maybe he has to change his target as of right now. As well with Josephine on the field, even if you're using that skill 2, you might stun, but you're going to proc that passive.
Yep, not wanting to proc that passive, also getting a little bit of extra chip damage. Do we still go for the NFL? We do go for the NFL. We did get the armor break. Is this going to be enough damage to take out this NFL? Skill 1, he's a little bit hesitant. If he felt confident in taking it out right now, he would have done so. Ooh, the additional turn. In this case, still not going to take it out. Nope, actually he's giving the more attack bar to the TL Length, trying for the TL Length to take it out at a later moment. But it could be very dangerous if you get additional turns at a wrong moment, such as this. If that goes into the sleeps, connecting the kills is so important. No sleep for that whatsoever, though.
No sleep right there. Is it even worth to bring Oliver back? I think there's only a skill 2 available for him. can look to get that cooldown maybe in the Yonhong, maybe even in the Ashur.
Cooldown in the Ashur. In this case, skill 2. Do you deal enough damage? I don't think so. The scaling is not that much, but the additional turn makes it where you can actually take out this NFL, and he definitely needed it.
He needed to get rid of that Annabelle just because of the kit that she brings with that heal on the skill 2 right there. But right now, and another additional turn is going to do favors.
Ooh, we got the Desert Predator, but Desert Predator did not activate a single armor break there for not enough damage. Yonhong has to step in, skill 2, taking out that TL Link. So in this case, the main damage output is going to be the Josephine. And all of the units trying to target the Josephine are wrong element except for that Yonhong.
Yeah, I think he's targeting through that Yonhong surely, or just to provide a lot of stuns.
Yeah, providing a lot of stuns. Also, if you go for the skill 2 on that Yonhong right now, it will stick for a while. Also, good damage from this Josephine. Definitely more crit damage focused Josephine than we have seen some of those like super high HP.
Yeah, just keeping that Yonhong control. Does not want to see a skill 3 coming out at any point. But this Asher needs to also get rid of that Shizuka quickly.
Yeah, and that's definitely difficult with the wrong elements. You have to land all of those crits, but we're actually going to go for the additional turn on that Shizuka. If you bring back the TL Link skill 1 can do a lot of damage. Set up the armor break, potentially take it out by a Josephine right here.
Yeah, perfect. Wow, getting those great additional turns right now. Maybe can go and stun, and again, just get rid of that Asher, and it's probably your game.
Yep. Trying to set up an armor break, did not get it. Do we get an additional turn on that? Nope. I think that it then becomes all she wrote because we have another all things in nature armor break landing. We have seen an 11k before, 10.9k on this Ashur, nearly taking it out.
Yeah, it's not looking good for TAYFUN in this one right here. Josephine, I mean, there is a skill 3 to get some healing, but how are you getting through these units off element?
Yeah, that's going to be very difficult. If there was no armor break, you might have gotten somewhere, but also deciding to use the skill on the Shizuka, which is not the main target that you really want to kill. It's understandable because you don't want to get the counter hit, but you're just simply not dealing the damage to the Josephine that you so much have to.
Exactly, and right now skill 2 is even available, but that is all she wrote in our set number 2. Pafix extending his lead to 2 sets to 0 against TAYFUN. Maybe a little bit more unlucky within that set, say.
Yeah, definitely didn't have like the right rotations at the right moment, but he did get the first kill on Oliver very cleanly. But in the end, the Josephine has shown once again that she's very good against multiple units on the field, just denying so many turns.
Yep, pre-bans have been coming. Yonhong has been taken out to not allow TAYFUN to have any more snipes into something like an Oliver, and the Joe gun as well. It does free up an Oliver first pick.
It does free up an Oliver first pick. Also makes the Sierra pick on the enemy side a little bit less interesting, but we have to keep in mind, Pafix has 2 kind of Joe guns. The other one is called a Kovachi.
Yep, exactly. If you don't have that one, let's bring out the other one right here. Deciding for a little bit more time, though, to get through into the picks right now. Going in for double water against Wind with the Haegang and the Shiho.
Okay, that's definitely locking in comfortable picks and more of maybe a draft that you're going to be developing later, which makes more sense because the first 2 picks doesn't really show too much as of yet, rather than just locking in comfortable meta units. Let's see what we have on the other side. We do have a great counter into stuns. That is that Zinazek. Also, the best counter to a Zinazek is Layla, pairing that with it.
Wow, okay, so we're really changing things up from what we would usually say with his, within this SWC meta so far. Zaratu coming out on the field and a Marsha.
Interesting picks over there, and there we have the Ala, the unit that I praised during like the picture profiles that we saw earlier. Very strong unit, lots of cooldown increases. Next to an Irene, I'm liking the draft on the side of TAYFUN. I do think, however, that he probably will lose that Ala on the field in this draft, but if that one is on the field, it will be super strong. Let's see what Pafix can do to counter it. It's actually gonna go for a Velodual unit we haven't seen all too much, but is very strong in case you ban out the strip. But there's still the Irene in that case, so I'm not too sure if that's going to work.
Yeah, who are you looking to ban then in the end? Do you want to be able to deal with those strips coming out from a Layla? Do you just get rid of an Irene who might take out a unit fully?
Ooh, we're removing the Irene, and on the other side, we are respecting that Velodual. No long-time immunity right there. Does also mean that the Haegang doesn't have that many buffs to work from as a spread buff, but all of the units that Haegang is paired next to have an individual buff.
Let's find out. Shiho taking that first turn right here. Gonna go into that Layla. Doesn't manage to get a stun though.
Doesn't manage to get a stun. Also, Zinazek is the fastest unit on the field. Layla, can we get some strips in? Does get a lot of strips. Did get a few cleanse blocks as well. But still, the attack bar gain is enough to give the turn to the Zeratul.
Yeah, Zeratul now will have that immunity up the whole time unless Layla has something to say. And he can do some good damage into the Layla, and Marsha can clean it up.
Marsha, do we clean it up? Marsha does connect. No 100% resistance on that Layla, or being a slight bit unfortunate right there. Layla was the main unit. Ooh, the double resistance on this Oliver. You can give back the cooldown and the turn to it, the Oliver. But we're actually going to go for the Zinzek, going for the bomb. However, the bomb does have an issue as well. If you land the bomb right now on that Shio, there is still the invisibility.
Yeah, so he's gone for the Haegang, the only unit that he could land that bomb on right there. But how much utility is it really providing now?
Well, the biggest issue I see is, like, maybe you can take out a Haegang, maybe you can take out a Shiho, but a Marsha has permanent immunity. A Zeratul has permanent immunity. The only stripper on the side of TAYFUN just left the battlefield. I don't see any comebacks for TAYFUN in this one.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very tough, if not impossible right here. Marsha getting that turn in. Not the second one, but Oliver looks like he's getting ready to die.
Yeah, Oliver's not having a good spot right here. Also, you can land this bomb on the Shiho right now, but as I mentioned before, taking out the Shio doesn't solve all your problems. The real problem is there, and it's the... Well, I'm not even sure what it is, but the dude with the hammer.
Yeah, he just smashed Oliver into the ground right there. Marsh coming out, didn't land the defense break, but still some good damage. 2 healers, though.
2 healers, but in the end, Zeratul is a self-healer. I think that Zeratul would be able to solo like everything that was on the field just earlier. But Zeratul doesn't have to solo. Zeratul has 3 mates still on the field, and that should be an easy cleanup.
Definitely should right there. I mean, look at the amount of additional damage over time. But Marsha, once she gets a defense break going through... Whew.
Yep, ooh, almost getting TOA hearted over there. Just a sliver bit of health left, but it's just a matter of time. The Zeratul is going to get more turns, and there's no way to deal with this Zeratul over here.
Zeratul, such a strong unit when it gets off, and there it is. Pafix confirming the 3-0 win against TAYFUN.
That's right. The cakewalk happened. 3-0. A great result there for Pafix. I mean, TAYFUN did his best, but it seemed that whatever, maybe the experience that Pafix has had in this competition previously, made a big difference here. It seemed that whatever was chucked, again at Pafix, he had the answer.
Yeah, he absolutely had the answer, and that also does show that the pre-ban factor was very well used by Pafix, also locking out certain units as the Haegang at a certain moment, but also, once again, understanding the meta, playing the meta units, but also in the 3rd round, completely shifting off the meta if your enemy also shifts off the meta, and then just playing your comfortable picks with that Zeratul, with that Marsha. It just worked out so well.
I mean, it's not over for him, though. He's still going to be here next Saturday as well. TAYFUN has another chance. Only needs 2 wins. One loss is nothing. You can still win 2 and you'll still be at the Europe Cup.
Do you know what I love about you, Sam? Forever the optimist. I love that from you. Yes, that's true. Of course, next weekend on Saturday, we'll see a return for TAYFUN to see whether or not he can make amends after what's just happened there with Pafix, that 3-0 there. I mean, Pafix is going to feel amazing about that, obviously, being in this competition before, EU prelims there, and being one step closer now as well, going into the next round, the next matchup here, but playing against ISMOO. That's going to be a battle there, my friend.
Yeah, that's going to be a really difficult battle. And also the 2 of them are actually good friends, so they probably do know each other's playstyle, they know each other's box, they know each other's runes. So very curious to see how that will work out, because I wouldn't be surprised if they also play against one another to practice their matches, but now they have to play for real.
Yeah, I mean, Sam, this matchup later on today, I think if you guys at home are going to get to witness this as well, I guess everyone's looking forward to that. You look at the board, objectively, you see, okay, only Glorious got 1. Otherwise, ISMOO and Pafix had ultimately three great wins in their best of 5 series there. I mean, when it comes into that, talking about like runes and making sure, kind of knowing how each other's play styles as well. Sam, what's your kind of vibe on kind of whether or not, because ISMOO, he does love to tease surprises. And that's what I love about this, with this competition as well here, so we can see things out of the ordinary we're not expecting. Is Pafix equally equipped to do the same thing?
I mean, for sure. I mean, Save mentioned, right, he did get 3 new LD toys. I don't believe we saw any of the one that we hadn't spoken about during that last match as well, so maybe it's something that he is saving to face off against ISMOO if he thought he was going to win against TAYFUN already. But I mean, these 2 guys, they're actually hanging out a lot at Tour of Europe Berlin this year. TAYFUN, Pafix and ISMOO were hanging out, showing each other what they've got. It's a classic thing with all of the SMOKEZZZ players, showing each other the runes, the builds, everything up until around this point in the year, and then suddenly nobody wants to speak to anyone because, hey, I'm keeping this private. But let's see if they actually do know a little bit more intel about each other, because it's a little bit harder when a player isn't necessarily a streamer.
Yeah, so say when you were competing as well, how cagey were you with what you would kind of give away in terms of your strats and stuff? Did you kind of keep your cards close to the chest at all times? Was there a moment you kind of thought, I'll give them a little nibble, give them a little something, and then I'll completely go 180 and do something different on the day?
Well, for me, I always like to play what I practiced a lot. So for me, I was a little bit easy to prepare against, but for me, it was also all about the preparation. So because of that, I rather did not show as much, especially as a streamer. It was always difficult because in stream, people are always asking like, oh, how did you build this? How did you build that? How did you build this? And it's just like, the answer is like, it's fast. Thank you. That's all you got to know. It's fast. It's tanky. It's fine. You're gonna figure it out after the cup, okay? So that's mostly what I did, and that's also what I recommend all of those players to do.
I mean, and he did it at the highest stage, say, as well. So, you know, if he did it, the others should probably be following suit as well, especially if you've got some S1 damage.
Yeah,
Always go for that S1 damage.
Always. I mean, speed seems to be such a determining factor when it comes to competing here as well. I mean, in terms of attributes going into each of these, pick and ban phases, Sam, would you say speed is kind of like the top of the hit list of what you need to have going into each of the rounds in these best of fives?
Normally, I would have said yes. However, current meta is kind of dictating a little bit, I would say, with units that are interruptive. So you've got a Josephine, you've got a Megumi. So these are kind of taking place of kind of the speed happening as such a crucial element. Obviously, if you take that first turn, it helps out a lot. But you can make your way around it for sure. And I mean, this is one of the guys that we saw from the France Open qualifier that can play around it in a few different ways. Had some tough competition against Guts in that final. Didn't manage to make it through. But right here, say, again, he's not got any pressure really going into it. He's kind of done it before a little bit.
Yeah, definitely an interesting play right here. And also locking in that Zeratul plus Gianna, which are arguably two of the stronger LDs on the field right now. So even if you're not drafting those, your enemy always has to keep in mind, if I draft this or this, those units might be picked up, and then I will have a very bad draft. So that's a thing that the players at home or the viewers at home don't always see. Is like, oh, this draft doesn't look that comfortable. No, these players are actually playing against everything that you see on the field, but also everything that is not shown on the field just yet. On the other side, we have Charge. Charge definitely playing an interesting style as well, with a Silver, also known as the Light Hacker, and a Valantis. Two units you don't see all too much because of now having that Wind Nobara, but Charge is still making them work.
Yeah, he's making them work over 2,000 matches as well, they say. One of the players that's got a lot of repetition of matches under his belt, so he's probably going to be looking to lean on that experience. And experience does pay dividends. He's currently played Mina twice over the past 2 seasons and won both times. So maybe Mina's due again.
Yeah, I mean, that confidence as well, having kind of had those previous matchups, is a big difference maker here. I mean, we saw ISMOO earlier on playing a very few games in comparison to the way over 2,000 that Chargers brought into the mix here. So we'll see if it pays dividends in this matchup here against Mina. Who will be the victor? As we always ask you guys, it's very important. Let us know. Who do you think is going to go all the way here? We're seeing two kind of debutants going head-to-head here in this competition here on the EU prelims. We're looking forward to seeing exactly how it's going to go down, and it's ready and waiting for you. The pick and bans are here, and we're going to jump right on in. Let's do this.
The lone Frenchman in an arena of Germans, but who will be charging ahead into the next round? Let's find out. Mina versus Charge, pre-bans already coming in. Vanessa and Zeratul respected.
Interesting pre-ban on the Vanessa. I'm not entirely sure what playstyle Charge goes for right now, but Vanessa is not the most common playstyle for most of these players. It's more based on an Oliver, a Sierra, or any of those units, or just simply locking out his LD 33 lead because he does have that Silver.
Wow, look at this. We've seen maybe a little bit of a change here from Charge, popping out the Irene. Didn't make it through in that last set for TAYFUN, but an early pick this time round.
Yeah, also Irene was mostly the counter that kind of removed the Ragdoll, as we called it, the Gapdoll, the Gapso and Ragdoll meta. So mostly wasn't super fast, but if you're pairing it against a Joe Gun, is that going to be a super fast Irene? Because that is the possibility. Also locking it in with a Viva Gel.
Yeah, it brings a lot of similar utilities from a Jogan. Obviously no attack bar, but can be annoying if it gets into that skill 2, putting the threat state on a different unit. And a Viva Chell, we know exactly how dangerous that can be at the exact right moment.
Yeah, Vivacho is always one of those units, you don't know how it's built. It could be swift, it could be violent. Most of the time it's violent, but then it's also the question, does it move right after one of your units? And actually, Vivacho is one of the hardest counters into Shio. Shio mostly moves first, but the Song of Destiny does not care about the invisibility. Still, you have your HP going down all the way to your attack bar status, so you're gonna have a lot of HP being lost if that moves at the right turn. On the other side, we also have a Pader. Once again, great counter into a Gianna.
Yeah, you can see it. He's seen that Gianna, maybe signaling that he might even want to let it through right there. We know Hagan can sometimes be used as well against a Gianna right there. Opting for a Josephine instead then to get that passive up.
Yeah, definitely all of the Gianna counters, or most of the Gianna counters, are on the field, but it's definitely also still the speed game. Who's going to be faster? Who's going to have the speed lead still remaining on the field? Because in this case, that does look like an Oliver ban from the side of Mina.
Yeah, is he banning that speed? He's banning the snipe there on the side of Mina as well. We are going to get the speed lead from Mina's side. On the side of Charge, going to go for some HP lead potentially. Maybe some defense.
I would say the HP lead, it's a 38%, so that's definitely a good number to pick up over there. The damage on the side of Charge is not super high. It's going to be the damage from that Irene or the damage at the right moment from a Vivacho.
Let's see then, Mina versus Charge, set number 1. Shiho is going to be taking that first turn. If you get a stun out, remember, Josephine is there.
Josephine is there. Also, by the looks of this Irene is super fast, showcasing once again that it was his plan to actually outspeed the Jogun. In this case, did not work out, but let's see how much we can do with it.
As well, there isn't a defense break set up for a Parter on the side of Charge this time around. We might not be seeing some crazy S2s like we've seen before.
Yep, just simply going for the skill one. Doesn't want to switch farms just yet. We have to land this back on the Gianna, and we completely landed it. We got the immunity, we got the back, and we got the attack bar.
Yeah, we've got every single thing possible right now. And look at this rotation for that Vivacho as well. Going to be able to take a turn.
Yep, and there's still the threat state, so the Sierra could not connect that bomb on the one unit that didn't have immunity just yet. Threat state will be there for one more turn. Switch of Destiny, we're actually going to give Sierra another turn where she cannot do anything in.
Yeah, and even get that counter through as well to get a stun onto her right now. Again, a lot of immunity. Waste of using a skill 2.
Waste of using skill 2. In this case, skill 2. Can we actually do it? 9k damage without an armor break. That's a good amount of damage right there. Can we get the stun? Does not connect the stun just yet.
You've got that scroll trap right now. Do you need to put it on maybe the Parter or...
Yes. Yep, it's gonna go for the Pader right there. Then the big question is, do you go for the Blossom right now? Because if you go for the Blossom, it gives you that attack buff. It will help for your bomb later. But the big question is, are you gonna get stunned? Yes, you do.
Yeah, you've got that skill 2 available, but remember, Gianna will have that skill 3 as well. Josephine does have the passive.
Josephine, I think that Josephine is sitting at passive, but I'm not 100% sure. Also, you cannot connect the bomb right now, so you have to go for critical arrow. And yes, Josephine did have the passive. Also, did not connect the stun on that Irene right there.
Yeah, managing huge cycling right now from Charge, keeping Mina at bay with all of these stuns.
Yeah, we're just waiting for Shio to do a good amount of damage, but in the end, everything on the side of Charge is looking very lively. There's shields, there's healing, there's just so much going on, where I thought he's not gonna have that much damage. The shields are just providing enough sustain. You have sustain on the other units, and the chip damage here and there is simply doing enough.
Definitely is. I mean, that skill 3 from Vivacho is the main source of damage, like you were saying earlier. But part of being on the field, if he can get some more skill 2s, this is maybe a slight opening, but... Phew.
We're looking at this bomb. Is this bomb gonna do a lot of damage? We do connect the bomb. I'm not too sure if the Pader doesn't simply have a skill 3, but we do have another Irene skill 3, so we're putting something in the back. We're stealing that attack bar, and it's simply not gonna work. However, we have the Moonlight Glaze from this Pader, once again cleansing everything off the field.
Charge playing this super clean right here, has so much immunity up on the side of his field, and again, preventing Mina from taking the turns against units he really wants to hit.
Yeah, it's just simply doing so well for protecting everyone, CCing everyone, having the chip damage where needed. Sure, you can go from some skills here and there, but in the end, all of the other units just follow up and just take over the jobs, and it's just simply doing so well.
It really is. Irene, just chip away. Maybe you can get rid of the monkey now. Gets rid of the Shiho. Skill 2 to get rid of the Gianna. Damage is now gone from the side of Mina completely. And Charge cleaning things up here against him in this first set, say.
Yeah, this is definitely an interesting draft and an interesting style. Also, once again, from MINA, he has to be thinking about the next pre-ban, because the previous pre-ban was on a Vanessa. That did not really show anything in this match.
No, it didn't. Is he going to be having some trauma from a Peter, or is it maybe even from a Vivachel? I think we might see at least some of those LDs being pre-banned out this time around.
Yeah, I definitely do think it will be more focused on the LDs, but also, like, sure, the Vanessa couldn't be on the field because it was pre-banned, but also any of the potential pairing of the Vanessa, I did not really see in the draft of Charge at all. It might be that Charge is playing multiple styles. It is definitely a player that likes to have a lot of units runed up, but we actually have a pre-ban on that Irene, and that is not necessarily a pre-ban on the Irene, the unit, that is a pre-ban on the fastest set of Charge, most likely.
Exactly, getting rid of those. Remember, though, from that France Open qualifier, MINA did manage to come back with a reverse sweep against one of his opponents on his way into the final against Guts. So he is capable of kind of adapting, learning what his opponent is doing, and then trying to beat him from that third set onwards right now. But will he have that chance as we see Fire Megumi plus the Vivachel?
Once again, going back to that Vivachel comfortable unit to make it where the enemy Shiho is always in an awkward state. If your Vivachel is 100% resistance, the Shiho is most likely not gonna land it on that unit. Plus, the Song of Destiny is coming then later, switching that attack bar and the HP bar.
Wow, Okeanos and Zeratu coming out right there. Some big damage in that second and third slot. How does Charge want to continue? Is he going to continue bruising?
Ooh, interesting stuff for going for a Juno into a Zeratu, because the Zeratu doesn't care that much about the Juno. Zeratu just picks off all of the other units first and then works on the Juno. So Juno's mostly picked up when there's multiple AoEs going on. Thus far, Okeanos AoE is there, but the Mi Ying is definitely a pick that I do like.
Yeah, gone into that kind of bruiser format then right now with that Mi Ying. Going to try and deal with any of the damage coming out from the side of MINA. Get some revenges through there. 4th and 5th pick right now.
Yeah, definitely thinking about units which could be really good into the Bruiser setup. You could be thinking about a Sonya, but a Sonya has a few off elements here as well, so it just makes it a lot more difficult. A Chao is also going to have a difficult time. Bruisering with a Mei Wang is an option. Misty? Nope, we're still going for the Chao.
Chao and Mei Wang appearing on the field for MINA right now. I think Charge can also just keep going with this right now. Maybe he's even got the Parter.
Yeah, Peter could be an option, but I think he wants to continue with the Bruiser as well. I could see a world where he just simply goes for the Misty, because if you remove the Mei Wang, there's no armor break setup on any of those units.
Wow, bringing in another speed lead then with that Ciara. Will he get a favorable turn coming in later on?
Big question is also, are you going to be removing the enemy speed lead and guarantee your own speed lead? Because in the end, I think you got the Oliver well covered that you don't have to ban it out. So the ban probably goes more towards either Zeratu or one of the 2 Bruiser units.
Yeah, if you get rid of that Zeratu, you're taking a lot of damage out from the side of MINA. At least all of that immunity as well that he brings with the attack buff as well. Chao being respected though, and that Vivachel, maybe a trauma ban within the middle of that set right there. Let's find out in our match 3, set number 2 between MINA and Charge. Can he extend his lead?
Let's see where the first turn goes. So it goes to Okeanos, but immediately followed up by a Juno. Okeanos definitely wants to be going for a Sierra reset in this case. But the big issue is, you do have a Megami moving right after.
You do. Can you get that stun? Does get that stun on the Zeratu. Do you want to fish for some more stuns?
You could fish for some more stuns. Like, you already have one. The other one is guaranteed not stunnable. But let's see where we can do a lot of damage. Actually gonna go for Calm Minds first, just to get some healing in.
Yeah, getting in that healing, gets the counter attack as well onto himself, that Mi Ying. There's immunity on that Fire Megumi, but you might need to hit it.
Ooh, it's actually gonna go for the Sierra. Also with this Sierra, the moment that the Zeratu does take its turns, it's pretty much just taking it out. That's how strong that Zeratu is. Also, there's no resets on the side of Charge. So anything that does take an additional turn at a great moment will be disbeneficial for your opponent.
Here we go. We've got those Rain of Stones that can come down. Mi Ying does have that skill 3 still on cooltime though. Not on cooltime. Ready to go, I mean.
Yep, we're gonna go for the Rain of Stones. We're connecting everything, but that's going to be a good amount of healing. Ooh, we're actually not connecting on the Sierra, but can we take the Sierra out? Also, the Zeratu is moving after this. So, yes, does take it out, and now we have the Zeratu raining a lot of damage upon his opponent.
So much damage. You can go into that Fire Megumi, and he can't land a defense break, most importantly now onto that Zeratu.
Yeah, you have to start focusing on either the Monkey. Monkey is still hard to take out because monkeys in most cases are built very tanky. All of the damage simply comes from the stacking of that passive. So in this case, Charge is not sitting at a comfortable match here.
definitely isn't right now. He's relying on that Mi Ying and that Juno to wake up and start being able to get some damage through. There's a defense break though.
Defense break, but there's also seemingly Nemesis on that Monkey, giving him another turn. Juno will have the skill 2 available after this, so can go for a potential strip on that Zeratul. However, the big issue is Zeratul gets the skills back very fast.
He does. Are you fishing for stuns now? You've got that skill 2 available, goes in for it, gets 2 out of 4.
Gets 2 out of 4. Well, actually, 2 out of 3 because 1 cannot be stunned right there. Can we get enough damage? Not enough damage to take out that Zeratul, but the Juno will finish the job right here. So it's pretty much Monkey against 2 difficult units to bruise it down.
Exactly. It's up to the Monkey. I think if he can get rid of that Monkey, it's looking good for him right there. Just popping up that skill 2, allowing himself to get the counter attack in.
Yeah, the counter-attack makes it very difficult for any units to hit the Mi Ying right now. You can go for skill 2. I think you have to go for skill 2 because that just allows your Monkey to be able to bruiser the Mi Ying down. If you don't do it right now, it's going to be bad. Ooh, the counter remains. The one thing that you wanted to strip is still there.
Oh, but he does get the stun though from that Monkey. It stopped the skill 3.
The stun is huge over there. Otherwise, ooh, Oliver also getting the attack bar of this Juno. Can still go for cycling. Definitely does not want to hit into the Mi Ying at this moment because you will get countered. Does actually get countered by the other unit.
He does get countered anyway right there. I mean, do you just send it with a skill 2?
I don't think the skill 2 would kill. Does send it by the sliver of health. The additional turn actually does kill it. Juno against the world right now. Juno still has to kill multiple targets. So even if you get pretty good through the Monkey, it is not going to happen. Juno needs to get a lot of counters right now. Armor break setup. Monkey, how much damage? 23k damage. And that is Juno all she wrote.
Yeah, it's going to be all she wrote right here because that Monkey has that skill 2 available, can clean it up for Mina, bring it back to 1 apiece against Charge right here. Wow, some Monkey business is back on the table for us, say.
Yeah, definitely Monkey business right there. And also the Zeratul and the Mayo Wing were just so difficult to bruiser against. I'm not sure if Chow would have done a better job or a worse job because in the end, the Mayo Wing was the only armor break provider.
It was the only armor break provider, but managed to get things done right there. Pre-bans for this one. I mean, we changed it up. We bruised it out a little bit more, like you were saying, say. I think maybe it's something that he has to consider in this pre-ban, and we're seeing the Parter and the Zeratul being banned out.
Yeah, the Zeratul makes a lot of sense. It's definitely, I've seen it multiple times with SWC matches. Every match that the Zeratul owner has the option to go for the Zeratul, it just works out so well. So therefore, pre-banning that unit always is a really good choice. Charge, going back to that Oliver.
Oliver, first pick right there. If you have that first pick and it's not pre-banned out, seems to be a staple in a lot of our Summoners War Europe preliminary players drafts right here. Mina, how are you going to look to respond? Are you bringing your own speed lead in around here? He is looking at that Fire Megumi and a Shiho.
Fire Megumi and the Shiho always leads into Josephine. So let's see what's the counter coming in into Josephine later. Also, Mi Ying is pretty much a Josephine, but then different, but very strong.
Definitely very strong right there. Couldn't quite get the timing in that last set for the win of Charge. But right now, Mina has that 3rd and 4th pick right now. If you've seen Charge pivot already, do you just continue with them? Maybe some snipe setups?
Ooh, actually going for Okeano, so doubling down or actually tripling down on the amount of stuns. It is a way to counter it, but he's also not that comfortable with it himself. He's running out of time. Last second lock-in is still a good lock-in with a Misty.
Yeah, Misty being used right there. And Charge looking to take away that Monkey business and partnering up with at least some sustain of the Rakuni.
Yeah, there's a good amount of bruising on the side of Charge as well with the semi-CC as in pushbacks and cooldown reductions that you do have on this Oliver. So let's see if Mina does go back to a Chow. I don't think Chow will do all too much in this matchup because there's too much healing on those units such as the Mayo Wang and the Mi Ying. It takes too long to kill those. So I think he's going to aim for Chow, but I don't think Chow will do that great.
Let's see, we're going in for the Anavel instead, then bringing up some defense breaks for his units to be hitting on right there.
Yeah, Anavel is a really great unit over there because all of the units except for the Oliver are probably lower on the accuracy and will have struggles beating that Anavel. So therefore, I wouldn't be surprised if Anavel is taken off the field.
Yep, are you also imitating that it may be an Oliver ban there as well?
Oliver ban is definitely a good ban, but it would be difficult to bruise it through all of the others. And you do have double fire units, so maybe a Rakuni ban, weirdly enough, could be okay. No, we're actually taking out that Mi Ying.
Taking away a defense break option there. So we've got speed leads for both Mina and Charge going into our match 3, set 3 One apiece right now. Who's going to get the upper hand?
Ooh, in this case, do we go for the skill right away on the Oliver? No, should not go for it because of the Raccoon attack bar. Raccoon is faster than the Oliver. If you do damage on the Oliver right now, it will be removed.
Oh, Oliver is taking that turn next.
Oh, I thought to see that the Raccoon was a slight bit faster, but the Oliver is actually fast. Also with this turn rotation right now, Magmi can go for a stun, denying the turn of the Oliver. Sure, you get the Josephine passive, but at least Oliver is not taking a turn just now.
And Josephine now getting that extra turn will allow her passive to be back up right there if the Monkey wants to use a skill too.
Monkey can use that skill too. Also, could have done the rabbit foot back on the Oliver to get some cool times in, but just going for a safe, sustaining kind of fight, getting that speed buff on the Raccoon himself.
Yeah, not managing to get anything cleansing through as well. We're back to full health and looking pretty good for charge.
Definitely looking good for charge. Also with that armor break sitting on a Asher with a few turns away. Also because the Josephine taking some additional turns, getting back into that skill 2, missing the skill 2 over there though.
Yeah, missing that means that he can't get a stun on that Asher, and it does have skills available because Oliver's being controlled the whole time.
Yeah, let's see if the Meowang can take a turn in front. Would you go for skill 1, slow the Meowang just to simply try to get your Ashura into a turn? Exactly what he was planning to do over there. With that slow, his Ashura is actually moving in front, and therefore he can get his third skill off, cleanse, heal, and get his match from there on.
Exactly, he can look to do it right now. Are you going into the Meowang instead of the Oliver though as well?
Ooh, I do like the chances over there, because the moment you take out the Meowang, you take out all of the damage, and then the Misty will pretty much just solo from there. Sure, the Oliver will be annoying, but that's the main thing. How much damage can we do right now? If we go for skill 2 just for chip damage on that Meowang, you definitely don't want to give any shields. Exactly what he's doing right here. Misty, how many crits? Misty, no crits, but full damage on 4.1k, taking it out.
Exactly, it's going to be then how much can he control even into that Misty on the side of charge, because his damage is lacking.
Yeah, the damage is definitely lacking from this point on, and I think that Mina's sitting at a very comfortable draft. Sure, he's not having that much of healing, but in the end, Charge has to focus everything but the Misty right now, and the Misty is just simply plowing a lot of damage into all of your units, especially if you get a random armor break setup from this Megami.
Exactly, and you've even got an option if you want to stun it right now. Resisted against it, but again, Misty following up right now. Can you get some damage? Land a defense.
Ooh, defense break coming in on that final hit, not allowing the full damage on that skill rotation right there. But still, Raccoon is going to cleanse those off, but Raccoon doesn't heal an insane amount.
No, he doesn't. He needs some extra turns to try and get through. As well, that Asher is just still being on the field. It's annoying. If he gets through to that skill 3, there's some big healing.
That's really big healing coming in anytime soon. So the Oliver has to control the Misty, but Oliver has to control the cooldowns of everything else. Josephine has to be landing as many stuns as possible. If these units are not doing that, it's just simply game over. So let's see how long he can provide all of those pushbacks, all of those CC, because Misty is coming.
Yeah, Misty is coming, and then Megumi also coming because of taking all those turns and not hitting him right there.
Yeah, let's see. Do you want to go for stuns? Does not want to go for stuns. Gets the armor break. Armor break is shaken off, but we also don't have the second skill available just yet. No skills available right there, but I see Misty with a glowing attack bar taking out a Oliver.
Yep, I mean, we've seen crazy things with the Josephine before, but right here, Misty is just piling through.
Yeah, this is kind of the position where Misty cannot lose. Like, I don't see a world. Doesn't matter who's Misty, doesn't matter who's Josephine, doesn't matter who's Raccoon. I don't see a world from this position in where Misty does not solo this whole matchup.
Well, Charge is going to try here for you, sir.
Charge is definitely going to try, and is good, right? Because in the end, he is playing for his qualification. Also, he can take his time to just analyze how did the previous drafts go. Where did he take his victory from? Was it the FIFA gel? Was it something else? And how is he going to do it next match? But once again, it does show 0-2 not on the field, still taking a victory.
Mina 2-1 up against Charge here then. He was our runner-up from the France Open qualifier for this year's SWC. Again, showing that he can learn in the actual drafting phase itself. Lost that first set, is now 2-1 up. Is it going to be the sweep?
Yeah, that's going to be the big question, because in this case, I mentioned it before, 0-2 owners always have a better draft and a better match if they have their 0-2 available. So that might be an upper hand angle for Mina right now. The Pater is on the side of Charge, But then again, something else could be pre-ban, such as that FIFA gel or something else that is doing good on the side of Charge. So let's see what MINA goes for the pre-ban. But also Charge, what would you like to pre-ban? Goes for an Oliver pre-ban, and yes, we are pre-banning more LDs with a FIFA gel.
Yep, getting rid of that 33 speed lead. Doesn't want MINA to have it in his first pick right there. He will have options. We've seen before in this position, Ciaras, Shihos, even the Megumis as well. Wow, we're going in for the Vanessa 33 then.
Yep, the Vanessa is the setup for the Zeratul. It's pretty much one of those units that is mostly played by Zeratul owners. Charge also right away seems like, okay, I have to go for that very fast Irene that he showcased before. So MINA has to keep that in mind. That Irene might be crazy fast, but there you have it, Zeratul right on the field. Is he going to go for a full bruiser lineup, or does he still lock in a few fast units with a Shiho?
Yep, if he wants to lock in that Shiho, trying to still take that first turn. He's going to have the higher speed lead if the Vanessa does manage to get through as well. Opting to maybe pivot a little bit then here with that Josephine.
Going into the Josephine, countering that Megumi over there on the other side of the field. If Charge goes for a cycle right now with a Shiho and other stun units, it is very strong, but it's also difficult to pull off. And what is also definitely a strong countering into that is just taking it out with a bomb.
Exactly, he wants to take that first turn Charge. That's the signal. Jogun and the extra speed lead from the Ciara as well right here. MINA, how are you looking to counter that right now? Are you probably going to be getting stripped through?
Yeah, it's definitely the big question right now, because if he goes for a Shio plus a speed lead, the Shio is going to get banned. If he goes for 2 fast units right now, the Vanessa is going to get banned. So he's in a difficult package right now where he actually just going to go send it down for full bruiser. He might potentially lose 1 unit right off the get-go. But it's also the big question for Charge. What is your 5th pick going to be? Because if your Sierra is banned, the Jogan doesn't provide that much for the other 2 units on the field. You have to go for a 5th unit that is provided well by the Jogan, and Marsha is definitely one of those options.
Yeah, bringing in Marsha, the fire unit right there, though. Does it signal that you need to get rid of an Anavel?
You might have to go for the Anavel. Yeah, it's definitely a good option. On the other side, I wouldn't be surprised if the Jogan doesn't make it into the field, though.
Yeah, providing that strip, providing that attack buff, especially for a bomb from a CR as well. We've already seen 28Ks, 29Ks. What's Charge packing? Well, we won't see with the attack bar, attack up effect going through right there, but speed lead and dark HP lead coming in for both MINA and Charge in our set number 4 of the Europe Preliminaries. Will MINA take his way through right now?
Now let's see, Irene, you do have to land your skills. Also, the Masha is faster than the Megumi, so therefore will not have the utilization of the skills. Neither do you have that from the Irene. Irene missing completely.
Yep, and no stripper to follow up as well right now means, yes, he might be putting in some damage, but nothing's going to be landing really from the side of Charge.
Also, the Sierra, everything is taking additional turns, but that simply means your enemy is at 27%. You are sitting at 12%. Those are really bad additional turns because the turn order did not make that much sense for that matchup specific.
Exactly, and right now, if we're cycling through, maybe that Anavel doesn't move before the Zeratu, though.
No, Anavel is not moving in front of that Zeratul. Would have been super strong if it did, but still, Anavel can go for a clean skill 3 over here. Landing the slows on everything, landing the armor breaks on everything.
And that provoke is going to dismount the Marsha as well right here. It's very much an uphill battle right now, say.
It's absolutely an uphill battle. At least you still have the threat state for a little bit. You can give the slow to the Misty himself, which is a really nice rotation. But you're gonna have healing coming in from this Anavel. So even if you stun this right now, healing will provide a full HP. And the Sierra did do a lot of damage earlier, but I think on a shield, the Sierra bomb will still not be doing that much damage, but we get the additional turn and taking the stun over there as well.
Yeah, now putting up that immunity right there. Skill 1 just dealing so much damage into the Marsha, getting rid of that follow-up with the Ciara as well. Wow, MINA.
MINA is doing so much work, and actually it was so well enabled by the Irene simply missing the skill. But even if the Irene landed the skill, it would have still been a Ciara into full immunity, a Marsha into full immunity, because the one you put in the back cannot be targeted as well. So definitely a little bit of a setup not being there, because everything was on Will Runes. Also having the Mina on Will Runes showcased so well in this case.
Exactly, too fast for your own good without a stripper right here for Charge, and MINA confirms through to the semi-finals.
Absolutely correct there. We have got ourselves a reverse sweep there, and it was glorious. I mean, Charge, sadly, obviously the first win there, but obviously then 3 on the bounce for MINA. Dare I ask here, I mean, Sam, Charge could have done anything differently there, despite the kind of the 2,000 games played we talked about earlier on today. MINA had an answer, and the way in which kind of like handled business, maybe the experience that you mentioned earlier on of having kind of like going against Guts and such has paid dividends.
For sure. I think it's definitely, you've kind of been through those nerves before. Even at the France Open qualifier, it was in person as well. So in all honesty, it was probably worse for the nerves. It was his first time experiencing it. Now understands how to keep his cool, how to kind of pivot around those different drafts. And Charge isn't a slacker player. Like, he's done really well to clean him out with 3-1 right there. And going through, again, that one Frenchman left in the Europe preliminaries so far. Can he join Guts? He just wants to see Guts, his friend, right?
Yep. Plus, what Charge actually could have done better, in especially that last round, if you're fighting full immunity, you have to have your strips moving in front of your damage dealers. If he had that strip from the Megami on any of the units, he could have went for the Sierra Bomb, he could have went for the Marsha skills. He would have taken out one unit cleanly. So even with the unlucky moment of the Irene back, just simply didn't work out. That can happen, but at least have your setups move in front of your follow-ups.
That's right. And you can see, talking of setups as well here, we've set up ourselves a phenomenal afternoon. Semi-finals, we can see ISMOO and Pafix later on. MINA then joins in that second semi-final later on against our next 2 competitors, either SMOKEZZZ or RAXXAZ. We'll see exactly how that pans out very shortly here. But Charge will remain in the competition, of course. Next weekend, we have the lower bracket final still coming our way. So you can see that TAYFUN, Glorious, Charge will all be there. And, think about yesterday and the kind of some of the players have gone across there, like the likes of Pinkroyd and such as well. It's going to be a meaty weekend as well, next weekend as well. Very spicy action coming your way. But today, day 2, of course, of the EU prelims. That next matchup we'll talk about in a second here. But I guess for MINA as well, I mean, looking at SMOKEZZZ and RAXXAZ, we're going to break down each of the players very shortly here. Is it more a case, do you think, here, say that MINA will be looking at SMOKEZZZ and RAXXAZ thinking, okay, which one of these two am I going to have to kind of like boss around a little bit? Or is it more a case of SMOKEZZZ and RAXXAZ wanting that challenge against MINA in the next round, do you think?
Well, MINA doesn't really have the upper hand in preparation against his opponent right now, because SMOKEZZZ and Rex probably did watch the match of MINA, but they are still really focused like, okay, I have to play against my opponent. Let me focus on my opponent first. Whereas MINA's just like, okay, I have a good 30, 45 minutes to wait right now until I have to do my next opponent. I can check all of the matches, and then I can also just reanalyze it, like, okay, what should I be pre-betting? Where do they have their best rules of? How should he be doing that? So it's always the upper hand to go first. But then again, over preparation might also be a thing, because let's say that RAXXAZ wins against SMOKEZZZ or the other way around, but they play very different against one another as they would do in the next round. There's a lot of variables on there.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, looking at some of the stats from both of our players, SMOKEZZZ has been here before, but it was quite a while ago in comparison to Rax. He's been here a little bit more consistently through the current years, but again, not playing as many matches, but a pretty damn high win rate there, say.
Very high win rate, but I do have to say the win rates can be a little bit clouded, because if you start very late in the season, you first have to climb your way all the way through the lower ranks, and a lot of these players would get like 80-90% win rate in there, and then only have like a few matches all the way in the top. So looking at win rates mostly helps the moment that you also have like an insane amount of matches played.
Yeah, we see Rax here on screen. Came third a few years ago. The last 2 years on the bounce, though, haven't managed to get out of the EU prelims. That's what we're saying for you guys at home. If you're brand new to SWC and watching it with us here at the EU prelims, it's difficult to get yourselves out of this. Into the Euro Cup itself is a challenge, even for players with the caliber of Rax and such as well. So who's going to win? Rax versus SMOKEZZZ. We're going to find out right now as the pick and bans begin. This is our last quarterfinal best of 5 of the day, followed by our semi-finals a bit later on. For now, though, Rax, SMOKEZZZ, let's do this. Fellas, I can't wait for this one.
Ready to have more fun? Well, I hope you've packed your snacks, because SMOKEZZZ and RAXXAZ are dragging this out all night as. Yep, use the names. Let's go. SMOKEZZZ versus RAXXAZ in our match 4, set number 1. Pre-bans of Oliver and Yonhong.
So we're going for meta pre-bans. Well, Yonhong is not the most of meta pre-ban, but we do know SMOKEZZZ is very fast. So removing that very fast unit is always beneficial. Let's see what Rex goes for. Does he go for a Shieho first pick that we also see Pinkroyd, which he definitely has a lot of contact with. They prepare a lot together. Is he going to go for the same style, or is he going to go still for a speed lead kind of style in that first pick?
Let's see, he has all the time in the world to get into that Ciara right here already then, so we're seeing a Jogun stolen from the side of Smoke straight away.
Interesting steal right there, because the steal is without a pair that makes any useful case of the Jogun attack buff just yet. It might be coming in later moments, but Rex has multiple options where he can play a Ciara without the Jogun, so let's see what he's going to aim for. However, a Shio in this position is a little bit less comfortable, simply because of that Josephine already on the field.
So bring in then 2 units that can stun right there, usually the Haegang and the Okeanos in a response to a Josephine out already on the field. Smokes, no speed lead as of yet though.
No speed lead as of yet, but where the Josephine was countering a potential Shio coming later, Haegang is doing the exact same thing. So we have the Shio being in an uncomfortable position right here. Might not make it to the battlefield just yet, but we have a Moor being picked up and a Gianna into a Haegang. That is definitely already showcasing, I'm gonna be banning your second unit on the field. You have to deal with that. But let's see if RAXXAZ can make a good 4 and 5 that also have to be banned out.
I'll let you take that one, sir.
Ooh, Dark Demon knows as Beelzebub. Very interesting unit, but I'm not too sure in the current play against it. The enemy is showcasing a lot of AoEs, and that is definitely what you do like to see with a Beelzebub on the field, because Beelzebub is lower on the HP, and it has to die to actually take the turn. Big issue is, however, where his brother, the Water one, instantly takes the turn when he comes back to life. The Dark one does not, plus there are potential resets, so you have to be banning out that Sibala. But on the other side, I think you can ignore the Demon, simply ban out that Haegang.
Let's see if they actually do go through right here with that one. Beelzebub making his entrance into the Europe preliminaries for the first time with RAXXAZ if he gets through this draft right now. Wow. Match number 4 of our quarterfinals. Smokes versus RAXXAZ. Are we going to get off to an incredible start right here? Bans coming in. Are you respecting that? You've gone for the Haegang. You've gone for the Zibala, exactly like you said, Say. We've got the speed leads for both RAXXAZ and Smokes. Let's get into it. Match 4, set 1. Who's going to take that first point and get closer to the Europe Cup?
All eyes are going to be on that Dark Demon, but also all eyes are going to be on that Gianna, because if you go for the Blast and Painting right now, Gianna only receives an 85 chance to land the stun, minus the resistance check, which the first bomb already did miss. Ooh, did connect all of the skills after that, but if you go for cycling right now on your unit, the bomb is definitely missing right there, is not helping. But let's see if he goes for the skill 2 right away, because if you go for the skill 2 right away, does go for it, you will take out that Demon. Ooh. And we have an additional turn on that Okeanos.
Yeah, you can look to go for stuns, but Josephine does still have that passive right now. Does get 2 out of 4.
Does get 2 out of 4. Also, you have to keep in mind, Demon will come back with 100 ATB. Most likely, RAXXAZ does have these artifacts which boost a little bit of ATB on V5. But if there's any additional turns on the moment of killing, you can just simply take out the Demon again.
Yeah, luckily there, Moore has got back up to his passive right now, unless Okeanos wants to put a cool time, but opts instead for the Jogun.
Jogun, no scroll trap coming out. We have a potential skill 2. There is an attack break. It's more HP scaling than attack scaling on the healing right now, but you will definitely notice a little bit of a difference. If you go for skill 3 right now, it's not going to be as much. Skill 3, we go for the cycle on both skills.
Yeah, you've got it there. 3 of the defense breaks land as well right now, but it's how much can he use that to his own effect?
Oh. Yep, and how long can you deny the turn of this Ciara? Because the Ciara is the main damage dealer that's on the field, but we also have the Dark Demon, the damage dealer that is not on the field just yet, or actually was removed, but is coming back at a certain moment.
Exactly. It's creepy to say, but he will be coming back at any point. You can get some more healing in right here. Annabelle providing so much utility.
There's a lot of utility going in there, but that's also kind of the thing with the Dark Demon. If there was any other unit that would have survived with the 3 units on the field right now, whether it was a Raccoon, a Meowang, that unit would have already taken something out. I could see a world where RAXXAZ is just winning this 3 against 4 and not needing the Demon at all, because that is pretty much what's happening on this field right now. And that's where Dark Demon, it looks really cool, it's really nice if it works, but it's also one of those units, anything else would have probably had a better shot at helping these 3 units on the field right now taking the victory.
They are, but I mean, you've got to remember, it's always coming back. If he gets rid of a unit right now, Smokes, it is going to be coming back, and he's getting closer, but Annabelle keeps cycling so quickly into that skill 2.
Yep, big question right now is also, do you send the skill 2 or do you send the skill 3? We're gonna send that skill 2. We're also stripping that attack buff right now. He's not taking out anything as of yet. Guardian Angel just locking down so much. Once again, healing. We didn't even need the Demon.
No, we did not even need the Demon right here, because I don't think SMOKEZZZ is going to even be able to take out a unit right here. Skill 3 on that defense break, and it is confirmed. RAXXAZ takes that 1-set win against SMOKEZZZ as of right now. I mean, we said it, didn't need the Demon, but he could have always just, you know, popped his head around the corner.
Definitely, it was definitely in the mind of SMOKEZZZ still there. It was definitely a thing that you have to keep in mind. But in the end, as I mentioned before, I think any other unit on the field would have probably helped a lot more with winning that match. But it's definitely an interesting one right there. We have Demon sitting on 100% win rate, and he did not even participate.
Nice, exactly how you want your stats to be looking right there. Pre-bans have been coming out, say it's a throwback to you. We've got Ciara and Gianna being banned out.
The good old Oracles being banned out, but that probably does mean an Oliver being locked in on one side. Let's see how the other side does respond. We have seen answers with Megami plus Shiho. Is that what he wants to go for? Also, Shiho plus Okeanos. There's a lot of options that you can pick into it.
Exactly. Does he even need to lock in that speed lead within the first 2 picks right now? Jogun maybe doesn't even need to field out on the draft right now. Ciara has gone.
Yeah, definitely taking his time what he would like to see for the lock-in on this draft right now. But yeah, as mentioned, there's a lot of options. Most of the time, it's a speed lead plus a fast unit. Yep, in the end, we do go the speed lead plus the fast unit.
Taking away then here, Josephine back on the side of SMOKEZZZ. Stealing across that Okeanos then against RAXXAZ right here. Oh.
Taking it away, going for a Yeon Hong, countering speedy unit against speedy unit. Let's see who's going to be faster on that. We do have a slight upper hand in the leads on the side of SMOKEZZZ with that 33 lead.
Yep, exactly. That 33 versus the 28 from that Fire Megumi right here. Is this the moment to kind of start pivoting for Rax?
Yeah, let's see if he goes for a more turn 2 kind of style. It's also an option where Diana could come at a later moment, but that's definitely more of a 5th pick rather than a pick that you want to go for right now. So let's see if he wants to go for anything that is more bruiser heavy. Yes, we're going to go more bruiser heavy with that NFL, but also pairing that with a very strong Layla.
Yeah, Layla coming out, going to get a lot of debuffs onto the side of SMOKEZZZ right here. How is he going to deal through this right now? Are you looking to provide more immunity? Oh, or attack it out?
Ooh, that's definitely interesting right there, because there's a fair bit of damage with attack buffs normally, but there's no Ciara. Like, if your Oliver was a Ciara, I would have said, yes, I like the draft over here. But the big issue is, Ciara would have been banned out in that case. Josephine is not having any much of the utility of the other units what that's providing. So, curious to see how that's going to work out, but there might be a lot of damage on those 2 Sky Dancers.
Here we are, 5th pick for Rax right here. We're going to get a 100% win rate still, say?
I would say it's not too bad of a draft. Well, the Demon is kind of bad into the Oliver, so I would not pick the Demon unless you're 100% banning out that Oliver. So let's see if he wants to go for that. He is actually going to go for that, so that is an Oliver ban right there. Let's see if he also respects the Demon in this regard.
Yeah, are you going to respect it? It was always in that back pocket in that last set as well. Are we going to get some sort of trauma ban coming through, or can you think you can deal with that Demon anyway right there? There's a few less AoEs.
Well, in this case, there's also a few less violence, because from the violence that I count, I think only the Josephine is sitting on Violent on the side of SMOKEZZZ, and Violent is the super hard count into the Demon, so I think you have to respect it, and so does SMOKEZZZ.
There we go, we're going speed leads into this one, both 28% right there. SMOKEZZZ versus RAXXAZ in our Europe Preliminaries quarterfinals, set number 2. Can Rax extend his lead?
Ooh, we have the first turn to the Shiho, where we're gonna place our damage, where we're gonna place our stun. Gonna go for half HPing that Jogun right away.
Does manage to get it right there. Do you need to get rid of that? Yes, gets the provoke on the Fire Megumi.
Does get it, but we also have AoEs coming in over here. AoEs not getting that many strips, however.
Yeah, resisted there from both of the Sky Dancers right now. You've got a skill 2 available, or maybe you want to heal up that Jogun.
Healing up the Jogun is a good chance, but then again, there is a lot of armor break setups. There's a lot of good setups on the side of Rex, where I don't really see the good setups on the side of SMOKEZZZ over here.
Yeah, right there, with some glancing as well right now. Does have that skill 2, but in all honesty, RAXXAZ really looking strong here.
Yeah, also the skill 2 is speed scaling. There's also a slow sitting on that, so where normally attack break is your hard damage reducer, in this case, the slow is your hard damage reducer.
And you can get some stuns with the Fire Megumi. Look how much damage is coming through on those defense breaks as well. And Layla's going to be cycling soon.
Layla's going to be cycling all or nothing, connecting all stuns that you do need. As mentioned, only the Josephine is most likely on violent, so there's not many violent options against those stuns. Or we're looking AoE stun, AoE 2 turns slow. That is just simply meaning you don't have that many turns. Actually, Wu Yong is sitting on a violent set as well. Not too sure what she's planning to do with that, because this skill 3, it doesn't do that much damage.
Yeah, we've got some coming in. 3k hits into that monkey right there. But remember, you've got that Annabelle skill 2 heal as well.
Annabelle skill 2 heal, very well drafted by Rex. Actually decides not that he needs it at all, because we still have the alter ego coming in from this monkey, hitting 5k per crit, taking out the Yonhong.
Taking it out, and these two units against a very healthy looking side of RAXXAZ right here. Again, cleanly drafted, won the speed battle with that Shiho, and it just set him up, say.
Yeah, absolutely great setup, as Smokes does know that he cannot do anything against that draft. And that's exactly what I said. Like, sure, if you have a lot of attack buff kind of units, it helps out a lot if you have something that will utilize that attack buff. But if it's simply not there, it wasn't even banned because the Oliver was not really an attack buff utilizer as well. The Sierra would have been, or something like those kind of lines, and Marcia, anything super high on damage, but it was simply not there.
Wasn't there, and there is going to be a Gianna available back in for Smokes right now. He's going to have to do a reverse sweep if he wants to continue in the competition as of today right now. Pre-bans, I mean, again, that Beelzebub was out in the draft last time, say.
Yeah, we gonna see a pre-ban on the Beelzebub? Because in the end, he was there, but he's the kind of guy in your group or at work that pretty much does no work at all, but he's getting all the credit, right? We all know about that one guy. That was Beelzebub right there in the previous ban, because he didn't do anything in the first match. Still, him kind of having his vibes in there gave him enough credit. We don't see him in the pre-ban, however. We do see a Shio in the pre-ban.
Yeah, Oliver coming out in that first pick. If it's available, people are tending to use it right here. Answer from Smokes, though. He's allowed the combination.
Yeah, in this case, you do have the combination with that Sierra. So Wu Yong is sitting on a violent set. So that is something that Rax does already know. In case that Smokes does go for it, he doesn't have to care about, like, ooh, it might be one of the faster units, because it's simply not going to be.
Yep, it's not going to be taking that first turn if he wants to compete. And the Yonhong has been taken out of the field as well, which was likely one of his fastest units.
Yeah, let's see what he wants to go for right then, right there. We're going to go into more Bruiser, and Bruiser is answered by a Misty and a Josephine. Let's see if Rex wants to continue on the Bruiser, maybe banning out the Jogun, or does he want to go for a different route for that?
Let's find out. We've seen it in a 5th pick every time so far from Rax. Is he cooking still with that Beelzebub?
Beelze could be a good option, but the only big issues that I see is that Beelze is not as strong, because the AoEs, you could simply ignore Beelze. The only actual AoE there is a Sierra skill 3. It's not that much damage, Jogan skill 3, but we're still going to see it on the field. Plus, we have the first time that we see the Sahat being on the field, also known as the Wind Bayek.
Yep, he's managed to make it out on the field right now. It does prevent, though, at least that 5th pick from Smokes being anything AoE, right? He has to continue with kind of single target damage.
Either single target damage or reset, but the moment you go for a reset right now, it is going to be the 50-50 if it's going to be banned or not, and I do think it will be banned. But however, I'm kind of liking the draft on the side of Smoked right here, because I wouldn't be surprised if it's a Sibala ban and an Oliver ban. Therefore, Sierra plus Jogun might do a lot of work on this match.
Yep, can you get rid of a unit already? Oh, he's taken away the Jogun then instead, get rid of that attack up effect. But we've got speed leads for both Smokes and RAXXAZ. It's here. RAXXAZ 2 up against Smokes. Can he win and go through to those semi-finals? Wow.
Ooh, that's also a Sibala sitting on a violent set most likely, so could get an additional turn out. Let's see if that actually goes for it. Also, what people mostly misunderstand with the demon has to be at 1 HP or very close to 1 HP to actually get anything. In this case, we could not get the provoke on the side of the Oliver, so Oliver has a free reign of its own skills.
Exactly. Haegang being on the field, so annoying. You strip something, he's there, and now we can Rain of Stones. 2 stuns, but some good revenges.
Good revenge. So this demon is definitely still going for a bunch of skill 1s. No, goes for the skill 2, so is wasting the skill right away. But it is doing the most amount of damage. But as we've seen, just an 18k, a skill 1 would have done near to same damage, I would say.
Let's find out. He's done that maybe so the Smokes forgets exactly what the count might be on later on with that skill. And you're just trying to target into this Sibala if you're RAXXAZ right now.
Yeah, the moment you take out the Sibala, at least you no longer have that reset potential. So let's see if he takes it out. He can go for the Demon right now, but I think he should still leave the Demon all the way for the last to kill, because if you leave the Demon for the last to kill, it's not going to be as much. 9k on the skill 1. So I think RAXXAZ is just expecting that SMOKEZZZ is gonna leave the Demon all the way for the last, and therefore was lowering its HP by himself.
Yep, exactly. Just targeting through that damage. That's a nice little additional turn on the defense break. But he's gonna go anyway.
Not enough damage. I think we're gonna go for damage into the Okeanos already and just leave the Josephine to kill it. But you can also do it the other way around, because then you actually have the chance of the stun. He decides to go for the other way around. Let's see if this Josephine can get the stun. Does connect the stun.
Does manage to get the stun right here. Does get that kill though, so Oliver's back up on the field right now.
Yeah, also the skill 1 is taking back your units on the field. We do get an unfortunate stun over there. So in this case, do we go for the Okeanos? Yep, we do go for the Okeanos. Can we take out this Oliver? We do still take out the Oliver right there.
Yeah, we do. You've got that skill 2, like we said earlier. Is it the moment to try and use it through a shield?
Ooh, actually decides against it. It's waiting for the shield to be removed, because I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have killed at that moment. But without the shield, I still think it's not gonna kill unless you have a bit of chip damage coming in earlier.
Let's find out. There's an attack break here on the Okeanos right now as well. Josephine does have that revenge as well that can come through. Just decides to throw everything across to the Misty then.
Ooh, goes everything on the Misty. The heal block on the Misty is really good. Is he gonna go for the Justice? Does actually get the Madness of Justice in. Lots of damage on this Demon right there.
Exactly, and now he's hoping RAXXAZ that he can get that control from an Oliver, push back that Josephine and prevent it from doing anything.
Yeah, the Demon in this case was actually the one in the friend group doing a lot of work.
That's right. In the battle of the Z sounds at the end of the names, Raximus Prime wins. RAXXAZ, I mean, incredible scenes. A 3-0 there against SMOKEZZZ, who valiantly tried to hold up his end of the bargain, trying to make his way into the semi-finals today. And it simply was a case of, I think, experience paid dividends there. And we see Rax going through to face MINA later on in the competition. Sam, I'm excited for that one.
100% super excited from there as well. I mean, it's a guy who got into the runner-up of the France Open qualifier against a guy who's usually kind of a warlord of the prelims in terms of Rax. Can he finally get through to the Europe Cup after a few years right now?
Yeah, I love the warlord of the prelims. I love that. That's great. That's a t-shirt right there. I mean, say as well, we saw that, you know, I mean, you have to look at the kind of competitors like SMOKEZZZ who've come into this, and obviously you kind of look at the caliber of talent we've talked about already. Still in the competition, of course. Anyone who kind of goes out in the quarterfinals today will be there in the lower bracket finals next weekend. However, could you have done anything differently there? It seemed that RAXXAZ kind of had an answer for everything, but SMOKEZZZ, again, experience, consistency, these are big factors in this competition.
Yeah, 100% right there. And I do think that the pre-ban did hit him a little bit harder, because I think the double Skydancer works really well if you play that normally on ladder, because you have more options for getting your damage dealers in with that. But if one of the two is pre-banned, or your Sierra's pre-banned, or anything is pre-banned, the comp kind of falls not that good into a match. So that's definitely where SMOKEZZZ had a little bit more issues. But I definitely do think he has a good shot of making it in a loser's bracket.
I think you're right. Well, I think we'll see exactly how that pans out next weekend. You can see on screen here, folks, all those in grey, Glorious, TAYFUN, Charge, and SMOKEZZZ will be there next weekend in the lower bracket finals, where ISMOO, Pafix, then MINA and RAXXAZ is coming your way in the semi-finals. Best of fives again here. Don't forget, you know, those winners of those two next matchups, guaranteed places, locking in the 3rd and 4th places in the Europe Cup come September. I mean, Sam, to get there, we talked about the hill to climb, go through the lower brackets next weekend, but how much does it mean to these players to qualify in this capacity in this EU Prelims Day 2?
You have to try and qualify now, because that Day 3 next weekend is going to be horrible.
Yeah, definitely it's going to be. But what's not horrible is more coupon codes. And
I was going to say. Thank you, boys. Yeah, you can see on screen, we have ourselves 25 Viva le SWC. I should say 25 Viva le SWC. You told me yesterday to be like, oh, yeah, my French accent's getting, I think 4 out of 10 today. We're getting there. By the end of this competition, it'll be at least a 10. But you can see that coupon's there for you guys at home. Make sure to lock that in. You have access to those lovely rewards for being here, part of our amazing fan base that watches the EU prelims here at SWC, and as part of the wider family as well here. We talk about all the players and how they're kind of very familiar with each other, all buddies behind the scenes. Of course, you guys, you're a big part of that too. We've got ourselves the 2 semi-finals coming up very shortly. Sam, what are players doing right now? Are they VOD reviewing? What are they doing?
If it was me, I would just try and relax, in all honesty. I mean, whatever you've prepared, hopefully you've done it right now. If you're doing last-minute homework, it never goes well, from my own experience.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. It never goes well.
I go 100% last-minute homework. I'm checking everything in the break. That's me.
All right.
So 2 different guys on the chip over there.
A tale of 2 attitudes towards competition here. Here's some highlights of what's happened so far. Join us back in a few minutes' time. Loads were coming your way. Semi-finals are right. Hello there and welcome back into the Summoners War World Arena Championship Europe Preliminaries 2025. Good to have you guys back in here with us. The quarterfinals are done and dusted. Now it's time for the semis here on day number 2. I'm joined by Say and Sam, and this is what it's all about, guys. Qualifying for the Europe Cup. 2 places up for grabs here. Obviously, the losers of these 2 games will still be in the competition. Next weekend, we'll see them, and they'll return later in the competition. However, you want to lock it in first and foremost, just like this coupon code at the bottom of your screens. We're doing it again. Fingers every time. But I don't care. We're living the dream doing it. For you guys at home here, 25 Viva Le SWC Mana and Mystical Scroll SWC emblems. It's all yours. It's all for you guys. There is the expiry date on there. Make sure to grab it before that happens. But it's courtesy of being here, part of the fabulous team SWC, enjoying every one of these matchups. We have these best of 5s. Speaking of which, 2 more coming our way. Say, I'll ask you first. You know, we'll break it down in a second here. But for players who are already qualified, for players who are playing next week in the lower brackets, what are they taking away from what they're watching? Are they really kind of looking at the nitty-gritty of what exactly is happening now, or is it more about perfecting their own gameplay? What do they extract? What would you extract in the same situation?
Well, to be honest, if you already qualified from yesterday, I would be like, I don't care who is playing right now. I just play watch for fun. Like at that moment, it's just like you're in. I'll figure out the competition like in a month again. For the people that are having to play next week, it's definitely still very interesting to watch right now, because one of the opponents that are placing right now or playing right now might be your next opponent to be playing against. So we will see the brackets for next week after this, and that's where full-on competition is on again. But first, for those players that are still in the competition, we have to find out who's going to get qualified.
Yeah, and 4 stellar players right here as well. Very German dominant, I must add as well, Adam.
Yep, I mean that's one of the best parts of this competition. We talked about kind of the French players. You have the Germans as well. Always put in a massive display each year we have here in SWC. And interesting as well, I think, when it comes to the kind of like the matchups we see here, like ISMOO, we take first and foremost. The caliber of the kind of the qualified kind of moments, the contenders, the finals, third places and things. You've seen players now who've got so many kind of like so many accolades under their belts here. Makes a huge difference, and it can be, I guess, as well, say for your opponent, quite intimidating too.
Yeah, definitely can be very intimidating, but in the end, you still have to play your own game. That's always very important, to not get too much into the head of the opponent, because if you do that too much and they switch something around, which ISMOO is definitely very good at, he might be picking something first completely different. However, we have seen it many times again in the current meta. Current meta is so strong, you kind of have to follow the meta to play well.
Yeah, and let's see if these guys can do that in this match. ISMOO versus Pafix. These guys have never actually played each other in the past 2 seasons before as well, so shows that friends don't usually like to play together on the ladder leaderboards right there. Pafix, again, going to be bringing a very strong outlook against ISMOO, but ISMOO, with his rune depth, his box, is a very, very fearsome opponent, and like you said, probably next year, these assets are going to have to be a little bit bigger, Adam.
Yeah, they certainly are. They have to extend it, because you can see Korea here as well. You know, we've got 2 Europe prelims contenders for Pafix as well. 3rd time lucky, there's no doubt now. You know, you would have learned a lot from those last 2 years, but it's 2025 the year that Pafix secures that slot in the Europe Cup, because obviously, as we know, as we mentioned it multiple times, this is it. This moment right here. If you win this semi-final, where you can see between ISMOO and Pafix right now, you are in, baby. You are in the competition. You'll be there and in Paris, and you'll be there in September, and you are going to be going head-to-head with the best of the best who have qualified as well. As always, let us know predictions. We love to hear from those. I should ask you both as well, hear predictions too. I mean, Sam, kick us off. Do you have a prediction going into this? The pick and bans, we start here, but who do you think is probably going to come out on top here?
If you had to push me, I'd probably just say ISMOO. What about you, Say?
I would definitely go for ISMOO as well, because of more experience in tournaments.
Let's find out, though. Is it me? Is it you? No, it's ISMOO. Somebody please fix my puns for next week. Let's get into it. Our Europe Preliminaries, match 1 of the semi-finals between ISMOO and Pafix. Pre-bans, Jogun and the Gianna respected out, Say.
Yeah, respecting 1LD. On the other side, respecting a unit that actually does something similar, being a very strong partner with Sierra. So let's see what Pafix is going to go for, because we did mention it before. Pafix does have kind of a backup Jogun in that Kovaci, but he hasn't been using it at all in his previous matchup. So let's see if we right away go for speed contesting, or do we go in for the speedy units lock in? No, we actually go to more bruiser. We go for an Ashur. Let's see if he locks it in with a speed lead, because that would be double fire in most cases with the Megami. Is that the right play?
Oh, we're changing it up for a Vanessa then right there. Obviously can provide that defense break later on, and it's still a speed lead, but ISMOO back to the meta, baby.
Yeah, absolutely back to the meta, and so does Pavix. So the only off or slightly off meta unit right now is the Vanessa. It still definitely fits in well, but it doesn't provide as much as an Oliver or a Megami or a Sierra.
Yeah, let's find out 4th and 5th pick right now for ISMOO as well to bring forward. We know he's got even, if he wants to continue going into that first, Yonghon is around.
Yeah, Yonghon is around. I don't think he will aim for that. I think more the Miying and the Annabelle. Those are the two good bruiser units that you do want to be duking out in a bruiser matchup. So let's see if Pavix does have something similar like that. I do think that Pavix has a Zeratul, so a Zeratul could be a good option right there, but I'm not sure if he's going to be aiming for that.
Or there was that other LD that you were talking about earlier that's still not being shown right now, but we're going into that Kavachi instead then.
Kavachi is a bit of an interesting take because any of the units on the field are not that much on attack scaling. One is HP scaling, the other one is, well, attack scaling but doesn't have that much attack, and the other one is speed scaling. So let's see how much that's going to do. But I think he's trying to deny it where the immunity is going to provide more than that attack buff.
Yeah, the more immunity, the less damage can hopefully go through. That's why it's being banned out from the side of ISMOO. Annabelle being banned out as well for some of the sustain. Speed leads for both Pavix and ISMOO in our semi-finals. The first match, ISMOO versus Pavix.
Let's see, Shiho, are we gonna connect our skills? We're most likely looking at that Assure to be stunning that. But then again, you also do want to reset that. So let's see if he goes for it. Does go for it, does not connect any of the stunts.
Doesn't get a stun, doesn't allow Josephine to cut in, and gets that cool time as well. So no healing coming through soon.
Yeah, no healing. So for that reason, let's see what we do go for. We do go for the Shiho. So resets right now. You can reset this Misty. Does go for the reset of the Misty, taking the full attack bar. Also having a good cycling for resets later.
Yeah, if he can get some turns in through on that Asher, doesn't yet. And that defense break, look at the damage.
That is so much damage. You can decide to kill it already, but you actually have a good rotation to simply not kill it. Because the Vanessa modes, Oliver can reset the Vanessa. Okeanos could have taken the Asher out, but he doesn't want to take those chances, just simply taking out on that first life.
Are you going to try and get a cool time in right now? Going instead for the defense break on that Okeanos, but is that Asher even going to be on the field still?
That's going to be the big question. Let's see if Misty has something to say about that, maybe with a slow or anything like that, but Misty is fighting his own battle against this Oliver just now.
Definitely is. Big stun onto the Okeanos right now as well. Oliver still can start to provide some more control. Get those attack bars down, and he hasn't missed yet.
He hasn't missed anything yet, and he's not missing anything right there. So even if the Assure takes a double turn right now, he's still not going to be looking at skills. Even though skill 1 is a lot of damage, but this Mi Ying is doing so much more.
Over 6.5k hits there on that skill 1 through the defense breaks right now. Might come down to a Mi Ying and Misty.
Definitely might be that thing right there, but let's first see. We still have a lot of units on the field with an Oliver, with a Shiho. Okeanos is gonna leave us right now, so it's 3 against 3. However, one side does still have revives.
It does at the moment, but is that the next target? Do you need to get rid of that Vanessa to prevent that, or are you just going straight in for the Misty if you're ISMOO?
Ooh, this Panda likes to be having a bolt-in additional turn because it's taking so many additional turns and it's utilizing it so well. There's just so much going on. You get the one random despair stun on the Panda, and the Panda says, thank you very much, I like my healing over time.
Exactly, provides so much now for the team. You've got that skill 2 available if you want. Not sure if Josephine still had that passive up.
I think the Josephine still has the passive. Actually, yeah, it did have the passive, but the Monkey decides we're not going to give those shields. Thing is, however, wherever this Mi Ying is hitting, it's just simply doing so much damage. We're actually trying to get the Mi Ying down on damage. Good damage right there. Can get stunned, does not have the passive. But someone that does have skills is this Shio. Are you going to take it out right now? I think you have to. There's no revive just yet. It's 1 turn later. It was already there, so it's going to be there. It's on the 5-turn cooldown right now. But this is the moment where Oliver is also being stunned.
Wow, and now looking to stun again. Misty can clean up that Mi Ying. Suddenly, Pavix in the driving seat.
Absolutely in the driving seat, adding in more shields. Oliver being stunned, Oliver being slowed, Oliver being armor broken, and Oliver being dead by this Misty.
Wow, and Monkey versus the world right now. I mean, not getting into that skill 3 is going to likely even get provoked right now to get stunned later on. ISMOO concedes. Pavix takes that first set win right there, say. Some very, very nice despair stuns at the right moment.
Yeah, at first the Despair Stun looked really bad from that Vanessa onto that Miying, but it actually enabled to get stuns in later on that Miying, and that is the hard counter. Not stunning it once, stunning it twice. So let's see if he can make that work in future rounds as well, because at first this Miying looked like doing so much, getting the additional turns, getting so much damage in, but at some point that one small flip around just makes it where you still lose the match.
Exactly. Into our set number 2 right now. Pre-bans coming through. We like to say is the trauma bans coming out right now. I mean, there was very much a meta going through into that. The Miying maybe a bit of an outlier, but didn't actually end up providing the win for ISMOO in that set.
Yeah, and that's also the difficult thing, because most of these units that you're pre-banning, if you're pre-banning normal elementals, are units that you could be drafting yourself. So the pre-ban is a lot more difficult than it was in previous years, because previous years like, oh, let me just cycle between 2 LDs. Let's pre-ban the Gianna and then pre-ban the Zeratul, and then just go back and forth on that. But in this case, we're actually pre-banning a 4-star LD unit with that Misty. We don't want to fight it.
Wow, Misty being pre-banned, Yonhong being taken out from Pafix in the side of ISMOO as well. That first pick is now available for Pafix. Are we going to be going for that Oliver? Yes, we're stealing that speed lead.
Stealing the speed lead, other side, comfortable picks right there with the Jogun and the Sierra. But then again, we see the hard counter on that with a Shio.
Yep, very familiar, all of these units right now, saying nothing really changing too much in terms of those first 5 and continuing into that 6th pick.
Yeah, let's see what the Hagang can bring. Actually taking out the Hagang. Is he going to go for something else to counter the Shio? He does go for Josephine himself. Could be a pair of the 2. It is definitely not that bad. The Misty's not on the field. Otherwise, you could have been somewhat countered by the Misty, except for your Sierra. But let's see. Ooh, does go for the double up with the Sierra and the Gianna. But that does mean you're going to be facing a Hagang on your enemy side.
Exactly. Hagang coming through. Layla now coming through as well. You've only got 1 speed lead, but how are you going to be able to counter it?
It is a potential where you go for a Sonya, you ban off the Oliver, and you one-shot the She-Hope. That is an option right there. I think it is a decent option to get your 5th pick, also a guaranteed ban, but let's see what ISMOO is going to go for.
Oh, different form tonight then. Etna is out on the field. High base speed unit going into that speed contest. Are we just seeing speed leads out?
Yeah, I think speed lead, at least the Oliver, I feel like is out. On the other side, you could opt to still get the Etna out, but then you're fighting an attack buff bomb on a Sierra, which is very deadly by these players.
There we go. Strips have been taken out from both sides. The Art Masters are not appearing in this set right now. Speed leads for both of them. ISMOO versus Pafix in our set number 2 right now. Can Pafix extend his lead?
Ooh, big question right now. Shio is faster due to that 33 lead. Also, if you stun right now, ooh, decides to stun something else. Let's see how much the Atna can do still, because the Atna has a little bit of free reign in this matchup right now.
Let's see. Can you get rid of that Layla? It's going to be turning next. Deciding not to go for it right there.
Ooh, it is a smart choice though, because Layla is the wrong element. Landing it over there is definitely more difficult, but the combination of the Shio and the Layla is always strong, because the Layla gets attack bar boost based on landing end of the debuffs, but also landing the silence right now on that Atna. So ISMOO is not looking at a good position in this first few turns right now.
No, he's getting controlled by Pafix right now. Layla's still with that skill 1 as well. It's not going to do much, and likely we've not got a Violent Etna. It had to be Swift.
It definitely had to be Swift, but oh, something that is violent is that Okeanos right there. But this is also a matchup that Oliver really likes to play into. 0 fire units on your enemy side. That is like a dream for Oliver. Just landing all of those pushbacks, getting everything in, cooldowns, taking the additional turns. Well, that's actually an additional turn you did not really need. But as long as you're landing everything, Oliver's going to have a very nice match this one.
Yep, he's controlling from now, and with Layla slowly getting some pace going through right now, hopefully can get some more debuffs, and again, more silences.
More silences, more everything. However, this glancing does not matter. You can still decide to stun the Oliver. Does go for a different kind of stun. Does not manage to land it. Does have glancing. Skill 1, once again, does not care about glancing, but skill 2 does.
Yeah, here we go. Only skill 1 from that cool time of Oliver right there. Again, can provide it more. Going into the Ciara, going back into the Gianna, maybe even to the Etna.
Actually has to go for the Josephine first. It doesn't give you the attack bar, but if you want to go for a Rain of Stones, very well placed, you first have to reset the hard counter into the stuns.
Layla following up with the skill 2 now as well. Wow, Pafix really dominant right here.
Pafix is showcasing a really nice matchup right here. He's playing very well with the combination of the Shio into the Layla, getting those silences in. They're not full activation rate, but the moment they do land, a unit like Athena can't do all too much.
Yeah, look at this control now from Pafix. Oliver, free reign, like you were saying, no fire units to deal with right now. Okeanos providing stuns, providing damage, getting even cool times in there. Wow, really nice draft.
Yeah, super nice draft. And it's also a draft where you definitely had to be looking at banning out the speed lead of your opponent, because then you would be on equal ground. But now you're fighting the 24 against the 33 lead battle. And on these kind of levels, everyone has about similar-ish speeds, and then just a 9 gap is too much to work with.
Definitely too much, and you can see it from here. ISMOO letting it run through, probably considering how he's going to start this reverse sweep, because Pafix right now very much looking strong with that additional turn, that skill 3. It's soon to be confirmed for Pafix as a 2-0 lead against ISMOO, say.
Yeah, sitting on 3 match points. Yes, 3 chances to take the victory to make it to the European Cup. First turn for him, or first time for him ever. And also against ISMOO. That is absolutely not a nobody. ISMOO, every time or almost every time that he played, he made it to the World Finals, or he's making it very far into the Cup. So let's see what he can do in that final victory that he has to take.
Pre-bans then. We're going into that third set. Like you said, say Pafix could already claim his spot in the Europe Cup from winning this next set right now. So pre-ban's super important. How are you looking to play around it? I mean, first pick is going to be to ISMOO, so there could still be an Oliver. And we're back to the Oracles.
Back to the Oracles being locked out. So definitely ISMOO is going to be picking up that Oliver. But then again, Pafix did have an answer to that. It was the Josephine, it was the Misty, it was the Bruiser setup. So let's see how this Bruiser setup is gonna go around that.
Yeah, we had even an Ashur, and we had the Vanessa in the first 2 picks in that very first set as well right there, to kind of start that Bruiser style coming through. Is he going to do that, or is he going to compete a little bit more? Okay, Okeanos and Shiho.
We're breaking up the holy trinity of the strong units right now. But actually, I wouldn't even say that there's a holy trinity right now. There's just so many units that are good, and they're all kind of countering one another in their own respect. Shio and Okeanos always super strong. On the other side, we do see a Jogan. Doesn't have the pair of a Sierra in this case, but still a super fast unit in this meta.
Yeah, let's see what he's going to partner it up with right there. He does provide the strip as well. A Yonhong coming in, so there is some sort of speed contest.
There is a lot of speed contest, but also 3 units with attack bar gain. Tian Leng does like himself a little bit of attack bar gain in his own regard. Do we pair that up with still a speed lead as in the form of Vanessa, or do we go full bruisering where we even decide not to go for a speed lead?
Yeah, that's the option right now. I mean, you've got a few sets to play around with if you do want to test something out, so he likely is going into the Ashur, is looking for that Bruiser option.
It's going for the Bruiser option, so ISMOO does join on the Bruiser side of things as well. With an Anvil, is he gonna lock in another Bruiser? Because in the end, the attack buff from the Jogan once again doesn't have the highest of value. Unless you have a Oliver that is on crit rate, because then you have the armor break from the Anvil, attack buff from the Jogan, and we're going back to a Chow.
Oh, wow. All of ISMOO's dreams are resting on a Chow right here if he wants to get through, and what a 5th pick.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Most players that have a Zeratul lock Zeratul in every time they have the chance. Pafix is that comfortable with his other units that a Zeratul becomes a 5th pick. So in this case, all eyes are on the Chow. Can the Chow actually take the victory over here? Because ISMOO is gonna need a lot of those.
I'm praying for his sake. It's 100% crit rate right there. We've got a speed lead versus an accuracy lead in our semi-finals. Match 1 of today. Pafix versus ISMOO. If Pafix wins, he's through.
Let's see. Do we boost up the Oliver to get a reset onto the Shiho? It is your easiest, most comfortable way of actually landing anything in this case, and does actually go for it. Impulse Cannon. Do we get the skill? Ooh, we resist on the cooltime increase. That is huge.
It is huge right now. Tian Lang can come in as well if he wants to try and get a strip onto that Annabelle and a few stuns popping around. Instead opts for the defense break. What do you do here?
Yeah, in this case, you kind of want to remove the defense break, but you also want to set up for your Chow. He's going to go for the setup of the Chow, taking out the Monkey cleanly. 28k, but in this case, we do have the Rain of Stones, also denying a lot for the enemy potential. Does not stun the Annabelle, however.
Doesn't, but does now have the option to cleanse off that defense break from the Tian Lang, I believe. Yes.
Yep, is going to go for Tian Lang cleanse. but NFL takes the turn in front, however. It's not the biggest of issues because Chow would have cleansed up regardless. But what could be an issue is skill 1. Skill 1 not connecting, however.
No, are you looking to now just control into that Oliver potentially? Going in for the Annabelle, keeping it at bay.
Keeping the NFL at bay, definitely a right choice over there. Big question is, how are you going to get rid of all of those units right now? You still have to care about the Oliver, but the Oliver is counted by the TL, is counted by the wrong element. So question is, goes for Dragon Dance, does not connect any of the skills that you like to see. Can still go for a silence over here.
Can you get the silence on him as well? You do. That is going to prevent him from a lot of control on the side of ISMOO.
Yep. Also, big question right now. Chow is looking at skills at the moment. Okeanos is 1 turn away from skills. Let's see what we can do. Justice on 1 unit off the field. How much damage are we looking at? Just 12k. Additional turn is helping the cycle right there, but it's not as much damage as you would have hoped to see.
Definitely isn't it? I mean, if he gets the additional turn there, it would have been huge to try and cleanse through that Tian Lang right now. Any additional turns will be huge here, sir.
Yeah, any additional turns at any given side at the moment will absolutely be huge. So let's see. Tian Lang gets the additional turn, also doesn't get it. Annabelle additional turn over here. There's so many way too crazy good additional turns coming up potentially. Because there's an armor break sitting over there. Armor break is not connecting. We have a rain of stones. That is a lot of damage coming in. Taking out the Annabelle. We have a skill 3 coming in. Rampage, so much damage. Late armor break, still enough damage. Chow is not going to be able to solo these 3 units. I would be very surprised.
Yeah, it's all up to Chow right now. I mean, what have you got to say right now for ISMOO? You don't manage to kill there. You can set up a defense break, get some cool times in. I mean, is it a matter of time?
It is definitely a matter of time because the Chow has to absolutely do some miracle work. Chow is on very high HP though, but is not on enough damage. This Chow is looking very fast, very high HP, but Chow in the end is a scaler from attack. It is not a full scaler from HP. So therefore, he's just simply not doing that much damage. Also, armor breaks keep connecting. Right now, you still have to go for skill 1. You don't want to be wasting your skill 2, but it feels so awkward that you have to do that one little bit of chip damage. Takes the additional turn, however. That is a good chance for maybe getting anywhere. Can you one-shot this Okeanos right now? Is that the case that you're gonna go for?
Send it. You have to send it, ISMOO, no? Send it into that skill 2. Oh.
I'm not sure what happened there. I'm pretty sure he hit the Okeanos. We missed that for just a brief moment. We also had an armor break coming in later. I'm not entirely sure what happened over there, but so far the Chow is still surviving.
Yeah, I mean, Chow's still on the field right now. Can you get into that skill 3?
Ooh, he does get the additional turn, and this additional turn does get him into the cup.
Wow. He's done it. The additional turn at the end. What we watching here? What we watching, lads? Pafix has qualified for the Europe Cup. He's done it 3rd time lucky. And not just in any kind of way, shape or form. A 3-0 against ISMOO. Sam, are we watching the same matchup here? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, it went crazy where I am right now. There was so many people screaming from all of the other languages that even I was like, ah!
Yeah, we can hear the different languages in our headsets from different teams, and it went crazy. It kicked off. Say it kicked off, and rightly so.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's just also in the matter like 3-0. Like if people said like, "Oh, Pafix won this match," I was like, "Oh, that was probably all the way best of 5, right?" It's like, no, actually 3-0. That's really insane to see. Still, ISMOO is gonna go to the lower bracket, so he is going to be playing next week. He still definitely has his chance, but also for Pafix, big congratulations for making to the European Cup this year.
Yeah, Sam, in huge applause to Pafix there for qualifying through and doing it in such great style as well. I think it was a 3-0 earlier on today. I think it was that. Yeah, so you had this incredible, I guess, am I right in saying no games dropped today for Pafix?
I think so. Like, I'm not sure in his first match, but he could be sitting on a 6-0. That's a very comfortable start to get into the cup, yeah.
We're going to see in the bracket in a second here, but that's pretty swift. I mean, that is a way to make your marker in this competition. That is a way to make a statement, and he's done exactly that. Pafix here. I mean, commiserations to ISMOO, as you said, still in the competition. Yeah, you can see that confirmed. Pafix with a 3-0 against TAYFUN earlier on today. ISMOO 3-0. Pafix confirmed, who must be going absolutely crazy right now, and rightly so. Totally deserved in the Europe Cup, joining the other two qualified from yesterday. I mean, from ISMOO, obviously we'll see next week in the lower brackets. And there's still a lot of opportunity to qualify. But Sam, what does ISMOO take away from that? Like, what could have been done differently?
I mean, in all honesty, he came up against a very, very strong competition there in the form of Pafix having to deal as well with, like we were saying earlier, that pocket pick of a Zeratu popping out. But Pafix really just understood everything of like what was going to be countering ISMOO right there. I wouldn't count him out. ISMOO next week will only have to win one of the matches to get through into the Europe Cup itself. And knowing ISMOO, maybe he can put a few more matches to his current tally, which I think was sat around, what, 300 in total? Probably needs to do a few more.
Also, during the rehearsals, we saw some of the assets, what could be potentially the matchup of next week. And I don't want to spoil it just yet, but that might be a very interesting one where ISMOO ends up at. But first, we're looking at this matchup of MINA against RAXXAZ. This is going to be a banger as well.
Yeah, maybe to add here for you, Adam, as well. MINA and RAXXAZ have played each other a total of 3 times, actually, in the past 2 seasons. RAXXAZ 2-1 up against MINA. MINA has been a runner-up, but Wiz, is he due?
Oh, do you know what? Wouldn't that be a thing? Wouldn't that be a thing if Rax and ISMOO, two players we've seen in this competition previously, and then MINA and Pafix are the qualifiers from today? I mean, that would be a big story. As it would be. So, I think MINA versus RAXXAZ is going to be a great competition here. You can see on screen now, folks, MINA and what he's rocking in terms of win rates and preferred and banned monsters. We can also see RAXXAZ stats here too. Obviously, 2 years back-to-back prelims contender, and say. Similarly to Pafix, we just saw the last 2 seasons not managing to qualify for the Europe Cup. Rax massively wants to kind of follow in his footsteps there.
Yeah, 100% right there. And also, he had a very clean matchup against Smokes earlier, so the confidence from that should drive into that next match. Also, curious to see, is he gonna go back to that demon? Because in the end, first match, didn't do much. Second match, banned out. Third match, it was actually doing very well. So, surprised to see that, but let's see if he can make that work. But also the question is for MINA, is he prepared for that, or is he just going to be banning it out because he doesn't have that many matches against it?
Just don't overthink it. Don't overthink it, right? It's simple.
Overthink everything. Overthink everything.
Relax. Try and relax yourself. Try. You can see, folks, this is our very last BO5 of today, the Europe Preliminaries 2025 for SWC Championship World Arena. And you can see here that MINA versus RAXXAZ, whoever wins this will go through to the Europe Cup, joining Pafix. Already qualified. That's 4 done. And then next week, the lower brackets, there'll be 4 more qualifying through there. But first things first, the best of 5 here. Who will win? We're going to find out right now with the pick and bands kicking things off in game number 1.
Hello, friends. Time for a little monkey dance in chat. You know what I mean? Let's find out. It's MINA versus RAXXAZ in our semi-finals match 2. Pre-bans have already come in right now. Oliver and Gianna say.
Yes, we have the comfortable units off the field. Gianna, you don't want to play against. Like, every time that you have the chance to ban the most picked LD5 in the game, you should probably be banning that. But then we have Sierra being locked in for Rex, also comfortable unit over there, which means that the only comfortable speed lead on the field, potentially, is a Megami. So just the Megami is a good option right now for speed leads. But do you want to go for that, or do you want to go for anything more bruiser related?
Exactly, figuring it out. I mean, Mina's always been one of those people that potentially loses that first set as well and kind of makes the reverse sweeps against his opponents. We've got here a Vanessa and a Shiho, so providing some speed.
Yep, providing the speed. I actually did forget for a second about the Vanessa right there, because in the end, MINA is a Zeratul player. Zeratul players, in most cases, do really like their Vanessa as well. RAXXAZ countering all of those single target strips with a Hey Gang.
Hey Gang coming out as well. 3rd and 4th pick then right now. Is it? I don't think it's too early for a Zeratul to even be placed on the field right now, sir.
It's maybe a little bit early. You could save it until the 5th position, but if you save it until the 5th position, it might be a matchup where it's not that comfortable to play it, and therefore you're not going to have it on the field at all. So he's probably thinking about the Zeratul. No, he's actually not thinking about the Zeratul. He's thinking about either an Assure or a NFL, and the NFL ends up on your enemy side, which once again, the Dark Demon. I'm actually really liking the NFL plus Dark Demon combination, because Dark Demon doesn't have that much damage if there's no armor break. NFL has lots of those.
Yeah, providing 3-turn armor breaks. Super dangerous if you're against it on the side of MINA. Again, not so many AoEs though. You've got that single target damage. Do you just keep following through?
Yeah, let's see what he's going to go for, because resets are not available in the form of Okeanos and Oliver, because Okeanos is already on the side of Rex. Oliver is pre-ban. We're actually going to go for Sonya. I think that he's going to respect the demon and remove the demon, because the Sonya into a demon is dangerous.
Yeah, let's see if there's any Sonya traps even. If it's banned out, it means that there probably wasn't. Demon taken out as well as that Sonya, so we've got the speed lead for both MINA and RAXXAZ. We're here, match 2 of the Europe Preliminaries, MINA versus RAXXAZ. Who's going to get through to that Europe Cup?
MINA once again has everything on immunity. So if you give the awkward turn to the Sierra right now, if you strip it and if you stun it, Sierra's gonna go into full immunity. Or he's gonna do that with Okeanos. We're actually gonna go into the NFL. That's fairly interesting.
Yeah, he's done it though. Again, can't provide defense breaks early right now. So it is going to allow though the Haegang to take a turn next, say.
Yep, we're gonna go for healing. We get an additional turn. One of those additional turns you prefer not to see because you're focusing on full immunity. You cannot do any of your sleep. So let's see what Haegang can do, because we have the Haegang into the Okeanos. That Haegang feels a lot like Gianna right there.
Yes, so very good speed tuning as well right now. You've got into that Okeanos. Do you need to get some more stuns and damage through, or are you going to get a cool time in?
Gonna go for that reset. Actually is getting both, so definitely getting the fair bit of additional turns right there. Also locking in the bomb, most likely gonna go for that Assure in case that the Assure is sitting on the 27. No, is he gonna take out the unit right now?
Already taking it out right there. Hoping he can cycle through and get it out.
I don't think that's enough damage. Ooh, was also somewhat risky because in the end your opponent is sitting on the 27. Assure could have had the additional turn right there and could have wide opened this match again.
Oh, Annabelle, so much utility. Just clean it up maybe.
Yep, cleaning it up, but also if you go for the healing, everyone on your team gets attack bar because of the Haegang. So the combination of NFL's just doing so well.
It really is. Okay, only a dot there, but Ciara also taking some extra turns right now. And I mean, RAXXAZ just providing exactly why he's been at these Europe Preliminaries before. The Warlord in full effect.
Yeah, it's very well played over there. It did have a little bit of the awkward turn for some of the units, but in the end, he only needed 2 out of the 3 units without an awkward turn to have a full setup right there.
Yeah, look at that. Pure skill in action. 1-0 up. But like we said, MINA usually actually does lose that first set and kind of comes back from it, or has done in all of his other matches apart from that one against Guts in the final of the Open Qualifier. So what has he learned from that? How is he going to now adapt?
Is he gonna go for that Beelzebub ban? Because in the end, it's so often the moment that it's locked in the 5th position, it's good enough where you probably have to ban it. So let's see if that becomes a pre-ban for that reason. On the other side, I wouldn't be surprised to see Zera to pre-ban.
Let's see. Are we going to get some LDs pre-banned out into this set number 2 right now? Thinking about it a little bit longer than usual, I'd say, for these ones. And we are going to be having, wow, a Haegang and a Sonya.
Ooh, a Sonya pre-ban is interesting. Also, that does mean that MINA will have a Gianna match without a Haegang for possibility picks. So let's see what he's going to be going from there. Could be a Sierra first pick, could still be an Oliver. Both of them work very well with Gianna.
And how is Rax going to respond right here? Didn't really have a speed lead in that last one either. Is he opting to try and get out of it as well? But MINA will always have that Jogun, Ciara, Gianna. It's a deadly combination if you can get it through.
That's why you start stealing some of those. I was actually expecting the steal on the Sierra plus the Jogun. Therefore, the Jogun will be faster than the Gianna as well. But in this case, the Shiho would be countering the Jogun in its own respect. So he's already taking those out. So MINA could go for a Jogun plus a Gianna right now, but actually opts against that. Goes for Josephine first. Is he still going to be thinking about the Gianna, or is he just going to leave that behind?
Let's find out right now. He's got 5 seconds left to see if he locks in the Gianna early already. He's already taken out one of the counters. Opts instead for the Okeanos.
Okeanos, that's definitely an opening for Rex right now to go for a Jogun. I could see MINA going for a Megami. Going Jogun plus a Megami doesn't feel that comfortable. But I see that the Jogun is definitely a strong pick for Rexes here, potentially. Ooh. Actually goes to old meta with the Twin Angels. Adding in the Twin Angels plus an Assure.
Yeah, Twin Angels making a comeback then maybe for Rax right now. There's always that 5th pick. Dangerous if you think of it as Rax recently with that Beelzebub. How is MINA going to prep for it?
Well, in this case, the Beelzebub doesn't feel as strong because there's a reset in the Okeanos, there's a reset in the Oliver. Worst thing that you can do against the Beelzebub is just simply resinging it. But in this case, there's 2 faster units on the field on the side of Rex already. And that makes it where Gianna might be not that interesting of a pick, but we're picking that together with an Annabelle.
Stealing that Annabelle, I like that pick as well, preventing any of the healing that could potentially come out through resistances against the Gianna. How is Rax going to look to respond?
Yeah, he already definitely has either first turn with a Shio or most likely first turn with a Twin Angels, unless it's on Violent. We have seen a few of those as well. So let's see what he wants to pair that with on that final. You could go for, ooh, still going back to that Jogun.
Jogun. bringing that accessibility to higher bomb damage from a Ciara. If you do let one of them through, do you need to get rid of the Ciara?
I think the Ciara is an interesting ban right there. On the other side, you could be banning out the Josephine, and therefore you have like an easier matchup with your Xiao. But the big question is that NFL potentially faster than a Gianna, and can it provide the clans?
Yeah, let's find out. 10 seconds to lock in your bans in this one. It's going to be that Josephine, and it is going to be the Ciara. We've got a speed lead on both sides. It's here, our semi-finals, match 2, set 2. MINA versus RAXXAZ, currently 1-0 up in this match.
Let's see. No, the Gianna is looking faster than all of the other units, so therefore just simply stunning off this Gianna right now is the right play. You can even stun it and put it in the scroll trap, so it's not going to be there for a long time. Actually, Ops against that is going to go for the Annabelle stun just first.
Yeah, it gets rid of the Annabelle, wanting to get rid of the immunity, block it away from any healing, missing one of the strips there, and it's on the Gianna right now.
There is still potential silence from this Azure. I think he's aiming for that silence over there. But then again, you still have an Okeanos Rain of Stones coming in. So there's still a bunch of options. Or do you go for full damage? Do you think you can take it out? He thinks he can take it out. Most Giannas are very tanky. Is this one tanky enough? It is not tanky enough. Takes the additional turn. Is also going to provide a silence on one of the 2 units.
Gets it on that Oliver right here. You need some stuns from this Okeanos. Missing on them.
Ooh, that's the worst Okeanos performance I've seen thus far in SWC. That is not what you like to be looking at. Sure, one unit had immunity, the other unit was the wrong element, but you had 2 units where you could actually land your skills on. Okeanos is not performing in this match.
He isn't, and with this Oliver silence, he can't start to control, but the Monkey can with some stuns.
Monkey skill 1 having the stuns. Also, the Azure did get an additional turn, so he's already 1 turn away from his 3rd skill. The skill cooldown on that skill is very low. So once again, if he gets that off, we're getting the additional turn on the Oliver. Can he do something about this match thus far?
He needs to start controlling, get that cool time into the Azure, prevent any of that healing. He's back on a 2 right now, but the damage still coming through.
Damage is coming through, but also Shio, we are gonna go for skill 2. All or nothing does get it. Not enough cycling. Also, no skills, or the skills were available for the NFL, but no turn was available.
Exactly, she was already stunned out prior from that Shiho right now. I think he has skill 3 available. Is it enough to even kill an Annabelle? Oh, going for the Oliver.
Ooh, Oliver close enough. This skill 1 might take it out. Additional turn on this bike once again. Desert Predator, late armor break, but late enough to do a lot of damage on the good run quality of Rax.
RAXXAZ 2-0 up currently against MINA right here in our semi-finals match number 2. Very strong drafting from the side of RAXXAZ right here. Say, MINA before, he's done a reverse sweep in the open qualifier. He really needs to mount a comeback right now if he wants to guarantee his spot this weekend.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of matches potentially going to 3-0 today. Definitely a lot more than we saw yesterday. But Rax still has to win this final match to actually make it in. Or can MINA go for that reverse sweep? We have a Josephine being banned and a Gianna being banned.
Wow, Josephine being banned out then. We're not going to be seeing her. RAXXAZ does have that first pick as well. Has the opportunity for an Oliver. Likely to be taken. I mean, there's also the Ciara Jogun that could be in quick response from MINA if not.
We're going for the Oliver. It's still the most comfortable first pick out there. But we see a Ciara plus a Shiho combination on the side of MINA this time around.
Yep. Hey Gang coming out with Okeanos, going back to very familiar units.
Familiar units, also very strong units into that, but we're seeing once again the Misty. Misty has done a lot of work for other players thus far, also for MINA in his earlier round. Let's see if he's gonna lock it in, and does he want to pair that with something. Also, he does have that Zeratul available, but the Zeratul doesn't have like a good matchup thus far.
Let's see if he opts in for it right now then. It is the 4th pick. You know your opponent's got 2 more. He's been opting RAXXAZ for an Annabelle in that 4th or 5th pick as well. So maybe he's expecting it, but he's bringing that Jogun.
We're bringing back the Jogun right there. So you could go for a Megami right now. It's actually going back to the Zhat. It's going back to the Dark Demon. Similar draft 4 and 5 ads in that first game. Let's see how that works out.
Yep, how is MINA going to respond? All is on the line right now. If he loses this set, he's not going to be confirming his spot right now. We'd have to wait until next weekend to see if he can make his way through. And a Sonya coming out, do you just ban it out?
I think it's, once again, respect on the Sonya, respect on the Demon, because you don't want to be dealing with those one target single snipes that they can provide. But they're actually taking a little bit more time for the ban as that I expected. So they're considering more options than just simply taking out the snipe. Let's see what that would result into.
Let's find out right here. 6 seconds to do it. Oliver being taken out then, and that Sonya, so he's got no speed lead, but a big attack lead on the side of RAXXAZ. It's here for our semi-finals, match 2, set number 3. RAXXAZ, you're 1 step away.
We get the awkward turn on the Shiho. If the Shiho decides to strip or stun anything, Hagang will cut in. So you definitely don't want to go for that. You're just aiming at a skill 1, but it always feels so awkward to do. No, actually goes for the alter ego, hoping not to get a stun. Did actually get the stun right there. And now Hagang and Okeanos are just simply going to take over this match.
Yeah, right there. You can see the silence coming out, right? Getting some big stuns as well onto that Jogun. If you're Okeanos, you've got even a skill 3. You can even reset into that monkey and does land.
Does land that on that monkey. So in this case, are we going to go damage with the demon later right away? But first we're going to see Misty, where are you going to be placing your damage? Are we going to try to get some slows? Did try to get the slow, but did not get that.
No, and right now Demon does have that skill 2, looking to use it, killing out that Ciara, getting the additional turn even.
Getting a lot of damage in right there. So definitely, I think a slight bit of a misplay or miscalculation going for that skill 3 on the monkey right away. He maybe had a better chance with the Jogun skill 3, getting a little bit of attack bar boost, maybe getting a Gianna's bomb in from there. But in this case, he's losing the Gianna already, and he has an uphill battle.
He definitely does. His heal block as well on that Misty right now. Jogun has all skills available, but putting into the trap the Demon. Wow.
Makes a lot of sense to put the Demon in the trap, because the moment that you kill the Demon as last unit, he doesn't have a chance to revive, because the revive only works if something dies after you. So let's see if he can take care of all of the units while they're in the scroll trap. But there's still a lot of HP to work with that Sahad.
Yeah, it's a race against time then for Mina right here. Can he get rid of these units before that Demon pops back up? Or can Shahat keep providing that additional damage over time, get rid of one of the units?
Ooh, Misty damage. Oh, we have the alt ego. Is that enough damage? That is enough damage. Demon does come back. If the Demon kills the Misty, that is reviving HP right there. But is that reviving enough? Does he actually decide to take it out right now? Because if he takes it out, the big issue is, or the big interesting thing is, okay, he does actually take it out. So it will come back. It will instantly kill something. But if it goes into the monkey might have a simple invisibility at that time and it cannot be killed. But therefore you can decide to kill something else. So it's going to be very interesting. Also, all units on the field of Mina right now are not on violent, so they can win by a simple violent right there. So let's see what the Demon is going to go for. Also, the monkey right now not on the right tuning for the skill, so the monkey will be available to be killed later on.
Let's find out. It's going to be all about timing right here, because that Hagang is going to be going down. Demon is going to be able to come back. Can you easily kill, and who's coming back?
We got a full HP over there, but then again, I think that the Misty still takes over. You use the Misty to hit on the Okeanos. That is probably your best bet. You use the Jogun to kill the other one. Big question is, skills? We do have skills because of those skills. No, we're actually going to go for skill 1. So in that case, you could get armor breaking, you could get pushback. I'm not too sure about that skill 1. Skill 2 might have potentially had more damage. Pushback, even with the slow. Still taking it out. Demon not doing enough in this match.
Wow, Mina bringing it back. We've seen him do a reverse sweep before in the open qualifier, and he's brought 1 point back against RAXXAZ right there. I mean, Demon was around, scroll trapped, came back, killed something, but it didn't quite work out in that case as Mina figured it out.
Yeah, it could be. Also, I'm not 100% sure what the Demon does target on for the revive. Is it at random? Is it a specific predetermined value? I actually don't even know. So that could be a thing. Like if he revived something else, could it have had a better outcome or maybe even a worse outcome?
Yeah, not sure. We'll have to find it out. Say later on, pre-bans have come in. Oliver and the Sonya have been taken out. You've got that Ciara if you wanted to take it, or do you need to lock in a different unit prior?
Well, Ciara is a comfortable pick, but then again, Mina does also really like his Vanessa. So, nope, we're actually going to go for Ciara because Ciara is also more of his steal.
There we go, Ciara going onto the field. Do you need to get rid of a Jogun as well? If you're on the side of RAXXAZ right now, not wanting to have to deal with it later on. I mean, other speed leads we've got are the Megumi. We've seen a Vanessa earlier.
Yeah, I guess he would go into the Megami plus a Shiho, but he's definitely taking his time to consider multiple options. Also, maybe already looking as like, okay, if I lock in the 1 and 2 over here, what is he going to lock in for the 2 and 3? Which are most likely going to go towards a Josephine plus something.
Yep. Josephine, are you appearing right now on the field for Mina? We've got Josephine, we've got the Okeanos as well, so another steal.
Yep, the double steals coming in here. We could go back to a Hagen kind of setup, but I'm not too sure if that is the route that you want to go for right now. You could also go for a steal on the Jogun, because you definitely can expect the Jogun on your enemy field if you're not drafting against it right now.
Let's see, 3rd and 4th pick right here. We've also seen the favoritism of Annabelle within these picks, and it is up there on the field with the Layla.
Layla, once again, the combination of the Shio and the Layla showing very strong. Moment that Shio stuns one target, Layla gets attack bar boost, can take over a match from there. So can be a very fast unit if the Shio and the Layla together make it on the field. But let's see what we do have as counters, because I could see a counter of the Wind Nobara. The only issue is NFL is taking care of a lot of healing that the Wind Nobara can maybe not do enough damage.
Yep, is she going to have enough around it? Oh, Diana time.
Diana, first Diana of the day. We actually have seen a lot of Diana in some of the APAC regions. Let's see if Diana can do a lot of work here, because she's looking at a very good matchup.
Yep, she is. So much damage against those water and wind units right here. RAXXAZ, what have you got cooking for your 5th pick?
He could go back to the Demon, but I'm not feeling that much strength in the Demon right now, because then you have to pan out the Okeana. So I don't think he will go for it, but he's definitely taking his time, going for the Marsha.
Yeah, Marsha bringing in some big defense damage coming through. Is he going to be banning out a speed lead right here?
There's a few options that you could go for. The Marsha does signal that he's okay with the Diana on the field, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's more leaning towards like maybe even a Josephine ban, so he can freely stun off the Okeanos. But then again, is your Shio gonna make it on the field?
Will the Shiho be in there for RAXXAZ as we're getting into our set number 4? RAXXAZ only 1 win away right now from securing his place in that Europe Cup. Annabelle being banned out and the Diana. So we've got speed leads for both of the players. It's here. Our set number 4. MINA 1, RAXXAZ 2. Let's go.
Let's see. Can we land our stuns? We definitely have to connect them on Okeanos. Some people do tend to go for Sierra in this case. We do actually go for Sierra. We do not fully connect it on the Sierra, but we have the Layla moving next.
Yeah, resisted with that Josephine though right now. You have got the silence at least though on the Sierra.
Yeah, silence on the Sierra, also silence on the Okeanos. Okeanos will throw that back though. Ooh, we're gonna go for armor breaks, and the armor break setup is there. If Marsha goes for skill 2 right now, she will get full attack bar for just doing the fast link.
There we go. Misty does manage to take a turn in between right now. Just maybe set up some more damage into the Megumi to not allow him some more turns.
Yep, ooh, we're actually gonna go into the Layla already. So let's see where we go for the strip and the potential provoke, or do we go for a full double provoke? I don't think so. You probably have to start denying turns, in this case on the Marsha, but the Marsha is pretty close on turns. You can slow it for the moment, that is an option you have, but the immunity will come back.
Yeah, but he's thrown away that silence. Big additional turn though right there for the Okeanos. Can you get some stuns to follow? Whew.
We do have the stuns to follow. That does also mean that the stun turn for a Marsha is not a turn where you do gain the immunity.
No, and right now, Monkey, you have that skill 2 as well. You are going to likely proc the passive of Josephine.
Well, skill 1 can also potentially still proc it. Also, is good to save that skill for a later moment, because that is your cycling skill, and it helps you to not run out of immunity that fast. But we have additional turns on Josephine, and Josephine's solo is just stunning everything on the field.
Yeah, look at how short that cool time is for her with that skill 3. She's already got it back up, so even a skill 2 Monkey won't do anything. Oh!
Yep. Ooh, the Okeanos additional turn. You can even reset this Monkey and prolong the debuffs, or like the good skills coming in from the Monkey a lot more. Actually gonna go for reset onto Layla, but in this case, nope, no armor breaks. We're not gonna go for the armor break. Do we go for the all or nothing? Oh. Nope, we're still gonna go for a skill 1 stun, but we do actually connect it. Ooh, it's gonna get that 2-turn provoke in this case. It's gonna be the Monkey. It's gonna be... There's so many options right here.
Yeah, he's gone in for that Monkey then right now, but with that slow on the Marsha, she's not going to be taking a turn soon. He wants a skill 2 coming soon.
Yep, he definitely does want to get the skill 2. Does go for the pushback over here. It was already stunned, but you can enable the pushback. Marsha's also sitting at that slow, so she's not taking the turns that she likes to do.
No, and the moment she gets online, it will be dangerous for Mina as RAXXAZ. Oh, Layla does manage to get in.
That is so many stuns from the Shio skill 1. Skill 1 seems to be very active over here, and that definitely does work out to get a good stun at an off turn. Also the cleanse block sitting over there. Can we take this out? It is slowed. It still does damage because skill 1 is actually more attack scaling than speed scaling.
Yep, he's got it right now. So it's all the world against Josephine and Misty. We've seen solos before.
Yep. I was kind of expecting him to go for a strip on the side of the Josephine, simply to remove or deny not being stunned on that one turn. And then the Shio could have gotten a more favorable turn in there, but didn't go for that. Shio does have all skills available, so if the Shio goes online, it's still very deadly.
Yeah, it does, and right now you can't really even get the option of the stun. You just need to try and land some defense breaks, but that's not happening either.
No defense break. Also, the additional turn from the Josephine, that's going to be stunning. The monkey does miss on the monkey. You have another chance for an armor break. Does not connect the armor break, but the additional turn on this. Ooh, so much damage, but you have to finish it off with a skill 3 right now. Josephine against the world. We have seen Josephine do similar things. Crit on this, no crit on this. We take out the Masha.
Yep, are you just trying to get some steal action going in right now? Gets that defense break.
Defense break is not sitting there for that long and gets the additional turn. It's going to be a monkey against Josephine. That could definitely sway either way. If the monkey's just, he got the stun. In this case, gonna get the S2 as well. But if monkey provides another stun right after that, we're looking at a Josephine stunned up again. Did not stun at that right moment. You have to send the stun right now. Does not get the stun. Does get the shield though, so at least the shield is removed for a moment. But the stun passive, or the shield passive, is back up on the Josephine.
Yeah, he needs to get rid of this monkey if you're Mina right now. He gets rid of that revenge. But stun, is it?
You have to stun it right now, otherwise monkey has the skill. He decides to go for the other target. He did not count the turns.
Wow!
What?
RAXXAZ qualified!
What? Guys, what's going on? Rax has done it! He's managed to go through all the way to the Europe Cup with a 3-1 victory, which could have gone either way at the end there. Did I see Mina make an indecision there at the end, Sam, that might have cost him?
I would have to watch it back, but it felt like it was a completely wrong decision there, say.
Yeah, 100%. Maybe he expected the monkey not to have the skills up, but the moment if he knew monkey had skill 3 available, that 100% kills. So he went for the other target that is definitely not that much of a threat. You would have killed it in the longer run anyways, but maybe he did not like the steals that much. Maybe he was hoping for the additional turn to actually go into the Megami and the monkey at the same time, but in hindsight, 100%, you have to stun that monkey, otherwise you get like an alter ego skill on you, and that hits for easily 10k plus, and it just takes you out.
Do you know what? I love an underdog story. There was an opportunity there for me to perhaps to kind of come back with a reverse sweep a second time in the same day, but it didn't quite happen. Massive shout out to Rax, who was incredible and has managed to go all the way through to the Europe Cup. We'll take a look at the bracket in a second here, but you know, Mina we'll see again. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing Mina. I think perform really well today, considering kind of like on the back foot quite a lot of it. Sam definitely has a great monster set there, a lot in his locker, which be fun to see how that plays out in the lower bracket next weekend.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it just shows that he learns and he adapts on the fly, trying to take it to his opponent. In that particular situation, RAXXAZ got the better of him, but it's not an opponent which you would normally think you're going to beat anyway.
Yeah, definitely well said right there. Also, Rax, big congratulations to making it to the Cup once again. It's been, well, 3 years back where he qualified last time, so he's definitely very happy about this one right here.
Yeah, it must be ecstatic, and congratulations all of our players today for competing brilliantly. But Pafix and RAXXAZ confirming they are joining Golem, Pichaga and Ababo as the first 4 in the Europe Cup this year, 2025. Congratulations, lads. All players still in. It's just a case of lower brackets next week where things get kind of like it gets a little difficult next week trying to get through. But there's still those 4 slots available there. But both Pafix and RAXXAZ, as you boys alluded to as well, there the last 2 years have managed to qualify for the Europe Cup. Both players, third time lucky after 2 years out, are in. They'll be joining Ababo and Golem later on in September for the Europe Cup there. You can see the dates there as well. September 20th is the date for your calendars. Make sure to have that absolutely locked in, because it's going to be one you do not want to miss. Mark our words. I mean, amazing scenes here. The 4 players who've qualified in. Predictions as well. You may have predicted correctly at home. You may not have done. It's all good. Predict the results of SWC 2025 prelims. Earn rewards. You can including the exclusive SWC 2025 emblems, there's prediction points, all that kind of stuff. Did you get it correct? Did you walk away with anything great because of your predictions today? We'd love to hear from you guys on socials too. And of course, the shop is out there, baby. SWC emblems are back, big rewards. You've got prediction events, live stream coupon codes, amazing things you can take away here. Scrolls and emblems and all sorts of mana, you name it. It's all there for you guys to enjoy and embrace when it comes to SWC season, where things really get kind of fun, courtesy of the Europe Cup coming your way. Guys, amazing. I mean, I'm ecstatic for the players who've qualified, and we can see 4 there, players have already gone through. I mean, I'll ask you both quickly. Sam, the players that have qualified, the 4 that have gone through that we've seen of days 1 and 2 of the EU preliminaries, surprised by the 4 that have gone through, or kind of like a few kind of ones you thought were going to make it regardless?
I think currently my predictions are sitting at 3 out of 4. I think I had 3 of those guys. I had Pafix, Ababa, and RAXXAZ. Golem Pichaga was the odd one out, but congratulations to him as well.
Yep.
Massive.
And also congratulations to all of your people getting another coupon code.
Oh yeah, that's right. Paris via Common. That is your coupon code on the screen right now. Make sure to lock it in. You'll get yourself energy. You got engraved scrolls, emblems as well. There, it's all there. There is an expiration, but don't worry. Just lock it in now. Get it done. Make the most of it. Paris via Common. That is what you want to get inside in terms of coupon codes, and you can enjoy and frequent all the goodness that provides you as well. There. We're going to take a look at the bracket now as well here, because obviously we've been kind of seeing the last 2 days here on the Europe Preliminaries 2025, what's been going on in terms of our quarterfinals, our semi-finals. Now, fellas, next weekend, what are we saying? Say. What are we saying?
Exactly what I expected. I saw Neff, and we saw it in the rehearsals where the position of ISMOO and Pafix was going up against Neff. We have Neff and ISMOO in that potential lower round 2 first match. That is going to be absolutely insane. Also, on the other hand, match 3, Glorious Potential against Pinkroyd. Those are some insane matches.
Oh my god. It's like, wow. That was a previous semi-final at a Europe Cup, that top one. And even just to mention, like, we've got guaranteed new players as well. From Match 4, Sambi, Set, Charge, Famicom. One of them is guaranteed. They're brand new players to the scene as well. So, wow. I mean, I've already booked in next Saturday, Adam. And I'm sure everyone else should.
Absolutely. Do you know? Remember those little things back, like in like the noughties? Those little kind of like keychains. We had like different noises, different sounds. You press the buttons. Sam, honestly, we could do one entire and dedicate to you. Like, ooh, I mean, it's the sound effects are next level. I mean, we love it. Say and I love it. But the brackets looking amazing. You said it yourself. And you say next weekend lower brackets. Things have only just begun here. Lower brackets are where things get really, really exciting, because obviously those 4 places, it is a slog to get there. But if you get there and make it, you are confirmed. You are in.
Yep, and also I do want to say, compared to last year, from America's Cup, we have seen 7 out of 8 people from last year making it to this year. For Europe, it's already 0 out of 4 people making it in. Potentially, it's going to be 0 out of 8. Let's see how that works out next week.
Yeah, it's going to be fireworks regardless. Thank you guys so much for joining us here. We'll leave you the highlights of what happened today. We'll see you next weekend. Lower brackets, do not miss it. We've loved having you here. Have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.